Alright, good evening, troopers. Commander on deck. Welcome. I think I'm gonna make this a usual thing. Starting like, usually I do like 2 hours after I get off work, but I like to save sometimes, so, you know, come in an hour and a half afterwards, as soon as I'm done eating. But yeah, hope everyone's having a good evening today. It's time for the weekly debrief, and I always mention how sometimes I don't have any stories sometimes, and I'm like worried, like, oh, it's fucking Thursday and there's nothing's happening, and usually I don't have to worry because something will always come up, and there's always plenty of stuff to talk about. Just like there's things that like I know are happening, or like I know vaguely what's going on, but I'm not gonna really go into it because like it's just like like there's like some VTuber drama going on. I mean, there's always VTuber drama, of course, but there was like something with like one fuckboy VTuber getting accused of, I don't know the guy's name or what's going on with him. Like apparently he's like a massive flirt and has like 8 girlfriends or something like that. He's a fucking whore of a guy. And like the girls that he was with are now realizing, wait a minute, he's an asshole, and so they're trying to like spin this as like, oh, he was they're victims, and that they're what's the proper term, they were groomed. They're using terms like they were groomed, or they were what was the other one? It's like a legal term. Shit, I know, like legal mindset, he's talking about it vaguely. Let's see if I can find this thing. They're claiming. Yeah, I have to turn my thing on. They're claiming. Yeah, they're calling him a predator, which is a very strong word. The dude is a fuckboy and a scumass, dumbass, whatever you want to call him. I heard the way he talks too. It's like, oh my god, he just sounds like the kind of guy like I would get into fights with, physical fights with. Yeah, but I'm gonna defend him on this one, where it's like, yeah, he's a scumbag and he's a fuckboy, but like these are grown ass women. If they can't realize that that fucking Chad doesn't really care about them, and now they're regretting it, and they're deciding to like spin it to try to get like money out of him. Now they're just being really manipulative, and like just trying to take advantage of the law and get some cash out of it. Whereas like, which I fucking despise, because like, you know, the law's there to like, you know, protect actual victims. Like, you're just a dumbass bitch who fell for a fuckboy, and like that's your own damn fault. Is he a scumbag? Yes. Is he a cheater? Yes. But that doesn't make him a predator. You're not like a little girl. You're a grown-ass woman in your 20s. Take accountability for your own dumb decisions, and maybe next time don't get involved with like fucking pretty boys who don't give a damn about you. That's your own fault. Anyway, I know there's like been like there's probably more to that, and this is like the basic gist that I know of. So if like I got anything wrong, that's because like I first heard about that story like at the beginning of the week, and it's now Saturday, so I don't know if there's more evidence that's popped up or since then. But yeah, like I watched the video that Legal Mindset did about that, and it was just like, I don't care. Everyone in this story is a moron in one way or another, or just like they're all jerks in their own fucking way. They're not worth our time. Anyway, I don't know if it gets like really bad, maybe I'll talk about it next week. Who knows? Just like this week alone, there's already like a ton of stuff like stacked, because there's always something going on. Things going on with like Halo Studios apparently mistreating their staff. Pragmata is going through some shit, because like, of course it is, because there's a little girl in as one of the main characters, because of course people can't be normal about that. The UN is bullying Japan again, because, you know, they're assholes. And and yeah, there's some other shit going on with Guardian, like the Marvel movie. So like, let's get into it. I guess there's so much to go into. Oh yeah, and there's like something that just came out like just this like literally like in the past hour. I just saw this kind of like breaking news, I guess. But it's like it's a lot. Oh wait, hold on, let me. Oh. That is way too loud. Let me lower that. Also, I don't think you're getting that audio. Let me fix that. This always happens like every couple of times after I log into OBS. It just randomly forgets. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be connecting to Elgato. There we go. You should be getting the music now. I can hear it, or I was able to hear it before you guys. Anyway, just the typical background music. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'm gonna lower it a little bit. Just for background. Anyway, I saw this like literally just like 30 minutes ago or something like that. Apparently Nintendo Switch 2 items are going on sale. I didn't watch the video yet, but I did see this comment down here that someone bought Kirby Air Riders for 50% off. That's insane. I think someone mentioned here. Yeah, I haven't seen numbers like that since the Wii days. When's the last time you can remember a Nintendo product? Like, not even just like a Nintendo product, but a physical copy of a game going for such a steep discount. That doesn't happen. So Nintendo's kind of floundering right now, I imagine. Anyway, I mean, that's always good. Like, if Nintendo's is losing money, that's good for everyone else. So
buddy.
See this.
So it's kind of wild to think about this, but we have been so conditioned to believe that it's impossible to get a decent Nintendo Switch game, especially a first-party one, at a discounted price, a good discounted price.
Yeah, like that hasn't again, it hasn't been a thing since the Wii days, and I don't recall buying any Switch game at a discount. Like either the game was already like 40 or 50 bucks to begin with. Otherwise, you're paying at $60. But apparently, they were able to get like Kirby Air Riders for like 30 bucks.
At that,
which is
outside
insane.
Of the very rare occasion where Nintendo has random sales throughout the year, and even then, those random sales are usually not.
Yeah, those sales are usually like shit. Like at best, you'll get like 10% off of like a game that's like 10 years old.
All that good, especially not for games that came out less than a year ago. But what might actually be even more interesting than that is that retailers, especially since
ATOA
now.
Oh my god, I didn't know that bot risk can do that. But welcome.
3DS and all the...
Yeah, I've been here for about 19. Well, we had like 9 minutes of me talking, 10 minutes of like pre-show. Just chatting up. How's it going, Tia? I hope you're doing good.
Have effectively never had to...
I was talking about like VTuber fuckboys, and now apparently Nintendo is going through they're having to discount their products a lot earlier than they probably would have hoped, and at a way steeper amount than they definitely would have preferred. Hold on, let me see if I have anything like good. Well, I always like to switch up the art every stream. What do I have? Let's do this one. Yeah, I haven't done... Oh my god, for how fucking massive this one was. I haven't done... I had Idol now in a while. I love this art. Also, I need to sneeze. Fuck. Oh no. There you go. I'm gonna try to do karaoke next week. I think I'm deciding that right now. We're gonna do some karaoke next week because it's been fucking forever. Anyway. But yeah, you're talking about yourself. No, it's a different fuckboy. No, an actual fuckboy. You know, like a guy. Or Sakuno. Yeah, the Sakuno thing. Yeah, it was that guy. The guy who was like, you know, like an actual fuckboy who was like, who was with multiple women and cheated on his girlfriend, you know, like an actual fuckboy. And I was just talking about how like the big issue I have with that is like, yes, he's a scumbag, yes, he's a cheater, and yes, he should be ridiculed and made fun of, and he probably deserves to lose all his subscribers, and they should all come to me. But he's an ass, but it doesn't mean he should be in prison, because like the people accusing him, these ladies, they're all calling him like a predator, and they're pretending like, oh, he abused them and groomed them and yada yada. And like, yeah, he's a cheating scumbag, but like that's not illegal though. He wasn't abusing you or grooming you or anything like that. You're grown-ass women. You made poor decisions getting involved with this guy, and now you regret it. I mean, that doesn't mean you're entitled to like money or anything like that. I would like to clarify that I heard about this story at the beginning of the week, and I think it has progressed. So if there's any new details, I don't know. So if I am wrong about anything, and it turns out, oh, actually he did sexually abuse these one or two of these ladies, then okay, then I, obviously I correct myself. Seeing Lucky Star OP. What is that? Is that from? Oh, is that from? Oh yeah, from the Odyssey, Mario Odyssey. Also, hey, good sir, welcome. I've been saving my points for song. Oh my god. I mean, you could do a song in a bit. Later. We'll do it. Okay, I like getting Vanilla packages. I'm trying not to get too distracted because we have a lot to talk about, including a stream. I want to go through the... We usually don't do this, but I want to look at this. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We have like 7 topics to go over, and we'll see what happens. Him and his girlfriend are still together. Yeah, and there's like that. Like, what the fuck, dude? How? Look, this is what I'm saying. Like these fucking. I don't want to be too mean to them, but at the same time, like, this is how a lot. God damn it. I'll just be fucking mean. These fucking thoughts. they get run over and abused, and they get cheated on, and then they're like, I still love him. I still want to be with him. Like, what are you doing? Like, I've seen the guy. He's like a Korean pretty boy. Like, he's a VTuber, but he's so good looking. He's gotta put himself on, like, on actual camera now and then. You can't hide that face for too long. And he has a very sultry voice. I have heard his voice, but like, well, it might make, again, thoughts get wet. I hear him and I'm like, oh my god, I would not get along with you. I was saying earlier that, like, if I ever got into like a lengthy conversation with him, I know I would start getting angry and I would start be like, oh my god, dude, I just want to like kick you. I don't want to be too violent, but at the same time, it's like, I could tell the kind of guy he is because I knew those kind of people growing up, and all of them are just like, ugh, you're a scummy piece of shit. And I've gotten into physical fights with these kind of people, so it's like, it's just like natural coming to me. Also, hey, Snowy Mommy, welcome. Byan, byan. Thank you for the redeem. I'm talking about fuckboys, besides myself. And yeah, they're still together. Yeah, so that's a great fucking, yeah. Again, this masochistic women, they're fucking retarded. I feel bad for the girlfriend in particular because she feels like, I don't know, she's like suffering from Stockholm syndrome or something. Like, after all this, he's been cheated on him with multiple girls, excuse me. I don't know, maybe he was with some guys, I don't know. But after cheating on her with multiple girls, she still wants to stay with him. How big that dick that she's still hanging around. Oh my god, I don't know. Some people are just helpless. I don't know. They being abused is just like normal to them, and they just don't know how to like cope without it, or like live a life where they're being treated well. And just like, I feel bad for her, but at the same time, it's like, girl, you're in your 20s. How are you making such stupid mistakes like this? Why are you still with this guy? He doesn't respect you, but clearly you don't respect yourself either. So like, whatever. I can't help you. I don't think anyone can. Not really. Unless you're like a licensed therapist, maybe. 3 topics and 2 hours over schedule. It's gonna happen. I can already tell. Final offer. It's gonna happen. I can already tell. Thanks for cursing us, good sir. But it's fine. Whatever. Also, good sir, I never realized that you were a member. I didn't realize you had the knife symbol. Thank you for that, by the way. If I never said thank, I mean, I probably did at some point. Yeah, you're a 3-month subscriber. Thank you for being part of the opposite core. You got I think that's the Jack, actually. Or is it the Jack? It might be the Queen. I forgot which one that was. Either way, thank you for being here. I wasn't a big fan of his, but I did watch a couple of streams because he played Yu-Gi-Oh. Damn. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. But the Shy Guy thing definitely is a facade. Yeah, like, it's literally just, like, soft voice and, like, oh, guys. Like, girl, you're so sweet. Like, I forgot what the line he said in that video I saw, but, like, I could tell within, like, the first, like, 3 words, like, I know your type. I know your type. Nice guys always finish last. That's, unfortunately, whatever. I don't care. I'm not, like, really into, like, dating, period. But, the point is, it's just, like... I still am frustrated when I see, like, you know, very obvious red flags, and then people who like to pretend that they're, you know, oh, I'm a feminist, or I'm independent, and I think for myself, and I have a 4-year degree, and then they fall for it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It's like, seriously? I don't know. I mean, at the very least, it's funny to watch, if nothing else. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, and I'm already like half an hour in, and it's like the only thing I've talked about, and vaguely a little bit about Nintendo. What's your Yu-Gi-Oh archetype? I was a zombie player. That's my favorite deck. I love zombie types. I don't know. I've always been really fascinated with the undead, so I tried to make a El Dorado deck. I think I got it like 70% done or something like that, but then I quit because I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because it's really boring. And I'm bad at it, so I didn't have the patience to like build up my deck anymore, so whatever. And I didn't want to give him money to speed it up, so it is what it is. Either way, I still like zombie cards, and I still have like my zombie deck from high school with my Red Eye Zombie Dragon. This might be around here somewhere actually. Do I have it with me? There is a deck in my drawer. What deck is this? Oh, these are my Gem Knights. Yeah, I had a Gem Knight deck, but then a friend of mine told me like, oh yeah, Gem Knights suck ass. And I was like, oh, okay. But they look cool, so like they're like my second favorite deck type. Yeah. Also, welcome, Socrates, Joy Bader. No bitches, bro. Twin. What do you mean? We don't got no bitches here. We just talk about the bitches who are stupid. I don't watch women streamers much anymore. Femboy VTubers have a cute model, but aren't insufferable. That's how it is, isn't it? You know, just fuck a guy. We don't got the we don't got the baggage, but we look just as good, if not better. This is why, like, I remember, like, I know some VTubers who were getting like really angry, where someone was like femboys are better than any women. Like, it was just a joke, and then I saw like other streamers, they got so fucking mad, like. Let's not do that. Just because you're a girl, blah. Just because you're girly, blah 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 blah. It's a fucking joke. Calm down. It's just so dumb. You're welcome for the tangent. Thank you. I appreciate it. It would have been great to play Yu-Gi-Oh with Benui. I mean, I might get back into it. I like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just that I don't know. I'm bad at it, and I don't have the patience for like the online games and getting on the cards and all that. Pick video, other screen. Wait, what happened? What do you mean? With the Celium stray? Oh no, unfortunate. Well, at least you can look at me, and that's the best. Anyway, let's shut up all about the fuckboys a little bit and get into like what's going on with Nintendo.
Nintendo Switch game.
Just imagine some femboys in your bed. That's all you need. You know
so basically, up until 20.
Just imagine kissing the homies. That's all you like. It's not gay. You're still straight. You're just like, you know, kissing the homies. Good night.
2025, they have all been able to.
You're just fucking the homies a little bit.
Effectively order an unlimited amount of games.
It's not gay if unless the balls touch. You know, all that.
Thought of them not moving off of shelves. But all of this has very
Gonna
much
have to
changed
imagine.
in the last
Damn.
year. Actually, it hasn't even been a year yet. By the way, the B-roll footage from this video is all taken from my Mario 3D World retrospective that's available on my alt channel, Nintendo Plus.
Okay, dude, I don't care. I'm only here for the news. I'm sorry.
The entirety of the Nintendo Switch ecosystem, with the launch of the Switch 2, has seen price increases. Whether you're talking about the hardware or the software.
Yeah, like the Switch 2 is like $200 now. No, not 200. $500. I wish it was $200. Yeah, it's like $500 now, and I think they want to even go even higher, depending on what's going on with like processors and all that.
And while
See
those
what happens.
increases of prices has slowed down sales quite a bit, as far as Western markets are concerned, especially, probably
Balls
because in
will be
Western
touching.
markets,
Then it
those
will be
prices
gay.
increase significantly more than over
You
in the
can't
East.
fight the
And obviously, these
allegations
words
anymore at
about
that
slow
point.
sales are not my own. They
One
are
joke.
the words of the
One joke. I'm the joke. I'm right here. I'm on the screen. There's the joke.
president of Nintendo himself. A talking point that
Wait, what was that? What did I say? I missed
sales
it.
are not my own. Increase significantly. As far as Western markets are concerned, especially, probably because in Western markets those prices increase significantly more than over in the East.
Yeah, that's another big fucking issue. Like, I think the Nintendo Switch is still at base price that it was in Japan. It's always gonna like I mean, it makes sense. It's a target market and everything, but at the same time, it's just so fucking annoying.
And obviously, these words about slow sales are not my own. They are
So Western sales and Switch has been weaker than expected. Yeah,
the words of the
I mean, they
president
deserve
of
it,
Nintendo himself.
honestly.
A talking point that has surfaced quite a bit ever since last June is people being surprised at how cheap something is from Nintendo. Whether it's a discounted Nintendo Switch 2, something that would have been unheard of when we talked about it prior to the console launching, or how cheap the aftermarket for the Nintendo Switch 2 first-party titles were as well. Every time these prices are lower, people are surprised. And the reason people are surprised is because
we've been like under this debt grip from Nintendo for like the past 10 years.
this was not at
It's like pretty much since the beginning of the Switch's life cycle.
all that common during the Switch 1's life, especially through the first 5 or 6 years of the Switch 1's life. Now look, I was there. I would buy a first-party game, I would play it, I would beat it, and I would sell it, and I would only really lose like $10. Well, plus tax, so probably 15 bucks. So I'd buy a $60 game, I would beat it, and then if I decided I wanted to resell it, I would still sell it for like $45 plus. And this was a regular thing throughout the entirety of the Switch 1's life. I've helped.
I never even did that. I don't resell games. It's not my thing.
And up until around 2024, it was very rare to find a very good deal on a Nintendo Switch 1 game that came out again in the first 5 or 6 years of the Switch 1's life. Even in the used market. If you were looking to buy brand new in box, forget about it. There was almost never a rare for the physical. And even the digital deals were nothing really worth celebrating. And look, obviously, this is not a surprise to anybody. It's the laws of supply and demand. Nintendo Switch 1 games, first-party
yeah,
Nintendo
that
Switch
whole,
1 games
where is it?
were record-setting.
Dynamic pricing
more
thing.
copies than pretty much any other Nintendo console prior to them for the most
It's just
part.
gonna.
They were extremely
But now it's going against them.
high in
It
demand.
seems.
So no matter how many copies a retailer would grab, it would move off of shelves, and no matter how many first-party games Nintendo.
Yeah, so Ben. What are you doing? What are you even talking about, Socrates?
There was never a.
I don't fucking care. I can't prove anything, so I don't give a fuck.
People always bought it. It's the Switch 1.
You want me to ban you because you're being annoying? I can do that.
We all know.
Would
how
you prefer
it
that?
We all know how it conditioned us to view the prices of Nintendo, especially their games. No discounts, no price drops, not even from the retailers, and even
We're gonna be talking about the new Pragmata game. This one later. Is that what you want me to talk about? Is that the CP you want to talk about? Oh my god, dude.
Even the used market was expensive, they wouldn't lose value because these were games that were extremely high in demand on a very successful console. And again, now we're sitting at less than a year of the Nintendo Switch 2's life, and there are two things that I'm noticing that I basically have never noticed before.
We already have sales.
These crazy discounts that we're regularly seeing from various retailers. Remember back in February, Sam's Club was getting rid of all of their Nintendo Switch 2 stock, and they were doing it at a discount because very likely they
should have bought
then
maybe. I have a Sam's nearby.
Sell as well as the Switch 1 was, or even the PS5 and the Xbox Series X did during their first 2 or 3 years. And
like almost every stream, a weird guy appears like
a huge discounts for a brand new console.
It seems like almost every stream, a weird guy appears like a Pokemon counter. Yeah, there's always some weirdo in the chat.
And the occasional sale
it's fine. This is a bunch of like fucking hecklers, particularly on like YouTube. And well, Kick is bots. On YouTube is where I get like hecklers.
And now the most recent bit of news is about how cheap the holiday titles from last year for the Nintendo Switch 2 are.
Yeah, Switch 2 games are being checked out at $29.97. Brand new games. Like Dread is hot garbage. Like these are, except for Air Riders, most of these games are hot garbage. But these are like $60-$70 games
at Costco. Now, keep in mind, Costco has discounts. It's not unheard of for them
to go to
sell
Costco
something at a lower price. So right now, for example, if you
want, maybe now is a good time to buy a Switch 2. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
To buy Mario Tennis Fever, you can get it from Costco for $63. $7 off of the price tag for that grossly overpriced tennis game. That's a 10% discount. That's a fairly normal discount. But we're seeing the major first-party titles from less than a year ago, need I remind you. 6 or 7 months old. Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 Edition, Kirby Air Riders, and especially Metroid Prime 4
Never buy a
Switch 2
game
Edition.
for above $60. I haven't done that. Like, I've only done that once, and that was for Stellar Blade, and that was more for, like, you know, a political statement. Because I had to support that game. We already talked about that. But since then, I've never spent $60 or more than $60 on a game. Yeah, pretty much. Not even if it's like a collector's edition. Usually, even if it's like a deluxe edition, I can usually get it like under $50, under $60.
The blockbuster titles that were
This is me
so
on the weird
good,
guy. Yes, you are good,
supposedly,
sir.
that
But
Nintendo
you're
wanted to
lovable,
lead
and
off
we
the launch of
care
their new
about you.
console
Not
and their
like these fucking normies that come out of nowhere who have nothing to do but call me gay, I guess.
first
I don't know.
holiday season with those games. And they are currently being basically thrown away from retailers
Excuse me.
for less than half the price that they're supposed to go, which is
pretty
extremely
insane.
abnormal for Nintendo first-party titles.
Hey, at least at $30, that's kind of actually worth the actual. That's kind of worth the actual worth of the Pokemon Z Day.
But naturally, we know that
I
the
still say
Nintendo
it's like a
Switch 2
$30
struggled in
game,
Western
or
markets
like a
for the
$20
holiday
game at
season,
best.
And it was largely because there were no games that really appealed to
Because it
Western
looks and
markets.
feels like an
And
early
in the
access
words
game.
of the Nintendo president, not my own. So if retailers all went out of their way to grab as many
Staying on
Switch
my
2
screen.
consoles and order as many Switch 2 games as they can going into that first holiday season, and then you end up going through one of Nintendo's worst holiday season that they've ever seen in the last decade, and really that's
I just had a cursed thought. You know how like in a lot of like Mario games, like Mario has like, you know, his big form and his little form. The big form is like technically the canon one, but there's also the little form. So like, do you think people like goon to little form version of Peach and like Daisy and all that? Where there's like
Sure,
little
it's basically a
little
November
midgets.
through February window, which is worse than Nintendo has.
Is that a
basically
thing?
seen
It
in the
probably
last
is,
decade.
right?
And it should come as a surprise to no one that all of those games that effectively caused that poor
I'm
holiday
normal, I
season,
swear.
in addition to the high price of the Switch 2, has led to a massive
Why do I have these
surplus
thoughts?
in those titles. And so, just like we saw with the price drops of the Switch 2 in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Sam's Club, etc., over the last 4 months,
Snowy.
now we're seeing that the games are being moved on, but they're being
Hope you're having a
moved
good
on at an
evening.
even
Thank you for the
steeper
redeem earlier.
discount, because when they were just regularly discounted,
Okay, well anyway, that's like kind of the gist of it. Like they're already like a lot of the whole thing regarding like Nintendo Switch has been basically a bunch of cope from the fan base is saying like, oh my god, Nintendo still has it, everything is still good. Like, never mind the fact that there's only like 3 games on the Switch on the Switch 2 right now. Like it's still peak. Z to A is not a cookie cutter textureless awful terrible game. It's a masterpiece. This is what I want to give to my nephews so they can experience Pokemon like I did. And yada yada, you know, the usual fucking cope. But yeah, it's, even though the Switch 2 did really well initially, it has probably had the biggest drop off since then. We don't know the exact numbers, but if I had to guess, like I would guesstimate, like I imagine it's like a probably close to 70% drop off as compared to like the Switch 2 in terms of like total sales. Like, you know, Nintendo tends to be really stingy and they're not really open about numbers and things like that. They don't even like list like what engines they use, but still, now we know, or we have a decent idea. And the prognosis isn't looking all that good for them. Hopefully, again, like maybe in the future, this will lead into like a big spike or price drop for the Switch 2, and it'll finally have to like cave in and be like, fine, we won't demand all your money like usual, and maybe they'll up a little bit of they'll eat some like pity pie and actually have to like, you know, try to appeal to their customers again. But you know, who knows. It's fucking Nintendo, and they've been, ever since Reggie left and Iwata passed, yeah, they have not been the family friendly juggernaut that they've been. I mean, they're still family friendly in the traditional sense, but like they haven't been player friendly since like probably since like at least like halfway through, at least like partway through the Switch's life cycle. I found more gay femboys that are based in regular streamers. I mean, that's all they are. That's all the femboys are based. Well, I mean, actually, I know quite a few femboys who are kind of fucking conformists, but that's just unfortunate. That's just how it be sometimes. I don't know. I mean, that's a bigger conversation about how like the VTubing scene in general is very left leaning. Is that the correct way to put it? And conformists and things like that. They're not willing to like call out bullshit, which is why I like to do it, because I got fed up of this, like listening to this dribble and pretending that it's normal. So that's why I call it out now. Anyway, but yeah, that's just basically it with Nintendo. Okay, I was gonna watch this like 1 hour long fucking direct with you guys for NTE, but as far as I'm aware, like they didn't add too much. I'll put this in the server and if everyone wants to look at it. But let's talk about some actual stuff that like happened today. It is wild with the new X Twitter chains seeing Japanese bend over backwards to defend Nintendo, while in the West it's us known to be a bad company. I haven't seen that, but I'm not too surprised if that's the case, simply because like Nintendo treats the Japanese fan base better. I think if it became more widely known that, hey guys, hey Japanese bro, because like the Japanese have been very open to like chatting with Americans and like, you know, calling out people who want to censor you know, their anime and video games and yada yada, and call out like, you know, Western bullshit basically. I imagine if like it became more widely known and more people spoke up and say like and told our, you know, the Japanese bros like, hey, yeah, they're treating you okay over there, but like over here is terrible. Like they're gouging the prices. They're basically demanding more and more for less and less, and it's just like it's not worth it. And I think they would be recipients of that, but I don't know. They just need more stuff. New Kirby game. Yeah, the Kirby Air Rider game apparently is doing really well. Again, I don't know if you can get it right. Actually, nah, I'm not gonna look it up because it might give my location. But yeah, apparently you can get like Kirby Air Rider for like $30, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's like around here though. Japan's very anti-piracy. Me on here is trying to seize. I mean, how did Gabe No put it? The solution to privacy or piracy is provide a quality service. If you do just that, if you do that, then more often than not, then people will be willing to hear you out and give you what you need. Like, it's not that hard. And that's why like Steam does so well, and why they are a big they're a big proponent of like remove the need for piracy rather than, you know, fight piracy itself. Layla's only online. I'm only online. Don't do it. Don't look at where I am. I live underground in the middle of the desert. somewhere in Texas. You don't have to know where exactly. Anyway. But like most companies don't you know, fall under Valve's like mentality. Most of them just think like, oh, we're just gonna like attack the consumer again and again and again, and we're gonna raise the prices, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. And then they get mad when eventually, because no matter what they do, people are gonna find a way to pirate. Like there's this, like, it's gonna happen, period. Like you can't fight it. Not unless we get into like the techno deep state 1984 edition, which is probably what a lot of these companies do want, but you know, thankfully we're not there yet. But yeah, that's just how it's just that. But like I get it, like Japan really values hard work, and if you work on something, then you deserve to be paid for it, and like, I get that. But like there's also, you know, business incentives, like, you know, here's a free product. Do you like it? Here, how about we give you this as well? Are you if you like this, you might be interested in this other thing. And that's what Reggie was really, really good at back in his era of Nintendo. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but like Reggie was a big proponent as to why Wii Sports was free to play, and it came free with the Wii. And he had to fight the Japanese execs on it, and they're like, they told him this basically, like, hey Reggie, you know, in Japan, like if you make something, like we expect to be paid for it. And then Reggie has to be like no, like give it as a free bonus, and people will love you, and you'll see much higher sales moving forward, and he was fucking right. The Wii is still probably the best selling of all of Nintendo's consoles, like period, even over the Switch too. So, but yeah, like, but they seem to have forgotten that lesson because again, it's like it's kind of deeply ingrained in their culture. So, so they don't have anyone like Reggie who's willing to speak up and tell them like, hey, why don't you do this instead? Now, since Reggie, they had that Bowser dude who was like a fucking terrible fucking marketer, and now they're gonna replace him with this other lady who is very much feels like a DEI hire, but that's like a different story. So you know, the giant spaceship above tech. Should I get that? Should that become like the official lore? There's like I have a goddamn Death Star above the Texas desert. Anyway, but yeah, that's just like Nintendo's all sorts of fuck. Like it's a long history that we don't have time to get into. We're already like an hour in. Anyway, we were talking about the how Pragmata, how this game came out yesterday, and how we're very certain that people are gonna be very reasonable and understanding, and they're gonna love this game, and they're not gonna look into it too deeply, right? I want to buy it, I know, but I don't have money. I told you my philosophy. Anyway, I just want everyone to remember that I was right, and the usual crazies are coming out and they're bitching about the game already, because of course they are. Anyway, so let's just go through this is gonna be like our first Technicals video that we're watching on the stream because he's talking about it. I think Technicals has a little bit of like, I disagree with him on some things, but he has like a pretty good coverage of what's going on. He also forgot to mention one thing. That's why I have Vera here. But he had a pretty good breakdown of what's going on. Sunzu Wisdom. Can you show the Pragmata meme I sent for last night about women voting? Sure, hold on, let me find this meme, or not meme, a Sunzu quote for Snowy. Talk is cheap, ammunition isn't. Thank you, Sunzu. Which is absolutely true.
Oh shit.
Use bombs wisely. Oh my god. Okay, let me see if I can find that meme. Also, I need to like go back here because I don't know where I put myself on Google or anything. What the hell happened? My god, what the hell's going on with Mizu and Royan? But yeah, this was a pretty funny meme you posted the other day, last night. I wake up still living in a world where women can vote. Tragic. But the Clanker Cunny game is out, so good day. I don't know who this guy is, but I should probably fucking follow them because that was just amazing. I loved it. But thank you for that. Anyway, so yeah, the Clanker Cunny game is out, and people are being very normal about it. No, just kidding. Everyone's losing their fucking minds.
Today, since we're talking about
I like Technicals get into it.
Lollies, somehow,
hell yeah,
in this situation has managed to be labeled a pedophile.
We all are, apparently. Yeah, we're all fucking pedos in this situation.
Now, there was already some drama revolving Pragmata because one of the main characters, it's kind of like a father-daughter simulator.
Which
like
is a common game.
Where you're the papa right here, and you got your android 7-year-old Diana that's going to help you along your mission.
Twitch Bat is so good.
You have cute little interactions here and there. I saw one post.
So he's gonna talk about the Twitch badge, and I kind of disagree with his take. I'll let him like explain it, and then I'll tell him why he's wrong.
Is this supposed to be when we first boarded the tram?
Aww.
I drew it. It's for you.
God damn it! How can you not like this
You
game?
wrote your name too. Not half bad, kiddo.
Aww. That's adorable.
Dude, it's fucking cute. It's a cute, wholesome game. But there's two sides of the spectrum. You're either like, this is a cute game, or somebody
Dad Simulators
here is
peak.
a
I fucking like Dad Simulators are kind of like a trope now, but I still fall for them. I don't know. I think they're really sweet, and I think we We need more of them. Honestly, I think we need mom simulators because we keep talking about how there's like a population crisis and how there's not enough children being born. Just choose your country. Pretty much every country is going through this issue. I don't think the dads are the bottleneck. Just saying. So yeah, if we're gonna continue this like parent simulator propaganda, we should probably be aiming it towards mom simulators. Just saying. Again, it could be the same premise. You're fighting like robots in space, but this play as a lady this time.
This is because you like kids. So let's go to the one that's
Resident Evil 9 is a mom simulator. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to make some progress then, because like I can't think of many mom simulators like that are actually like good stories. Most of them are dad simulators, which is fine, but like again, like where's the bottleneck?
sparked the most recent drama. It's because this was a bad play from Pragmata. I don't know if they just aren't in the know or if this was completely intentional, but
they know. They fucking know. They know what they're doing with the Cryana emote. They fucking know. And Technicals is either playing dumb or I don't know, maybe he's like too innocent or something. I don't know. My rat theory is Capcom is working with the Japanese government to boost the birth rate. Look, somebody's got to do it. Because like they need to start popping out some babies over there. Like every first world country kind of has this problem, but like Japan is like probably the most like known about one. Right, since that's Twitter, I saw today a new K-pop boy band called Empress.
Support a streamer and get the Cryana.
Damn, I should have taken that name.
Badge starting now until April 30th. Get this special badge by purchasing or gifting subscriptions to streamers.
The only
live
good propaganda.
You see this? The crying. Now, to a normal person...
The second good propaganda. The other good propaganda is the support the commander and give him all your worldly possessions, including your life.
Who is not on the internet a lot. This is just like a normal sad emote that you would find on Twitch. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Someone who spends too much time online, too much time on Twitter, in these online spaces. This is actually a dog whistle to lolicons. People were fighting for their lives to prove
dog whistle. Dog whistle implies that like it's a secret. No, it's not a fucking secret. Like it's like the lolicon flag or whatever you want to call it.
Wasn't catering to the pedophiles, just for the devs to go and make
there it is.
That
word is being thrown all over the place
I truly
again.
hope the sales for Pragmata goes down after.
Okay, lines like this make me want to go buy the game right now just to make assholes like this angry. I hope the game does so fucking well and then they're crying in their pillows because the pedophiles won.
After this shit. Okay, this is a person who wasn't going to play it anyway, so
that's also true.
But just to give you some context on what they're referring to, this is the...
It's an actual flag. I didn't know that. Also, hello, Enrio. It is a fantastic game. I have played the demo and I fell in love with it, honestly. Diana is a sweetheart. Hugh is big dad energy. He actually reminds me a lot of Barry now I think about it from Resident Evil, which is appropriate because it's a Capcom game. And overall, it's just a really solid game. So, like, I want to get it, and also getting it would make the right people angry. So, I should get it. I don't know.
Whoa.
I try to be more. I try to be frugal with my money. I don't want to like spend like needlessly.
And it's kind of the flat.
Listen, get the upgrade. Again, TOA, help the game succeed so that, these weirdos get angry.
Flag of lolicons. The crying sad face. It's an onomatopoeia representing an exclamation of excitement. The word is typically associated with lolly characters and the loudly crying emoji. After a Japanese Twitter user used the phrase in response to a picture of an anime child. You'll see this commonly used, especially if you view
cute and funny
kind of warfare that happens between
money
lolicons
sucks. I hate that I
other
need
people
it.
on the internet.
Yes.
Very common, very common. So when Pragmata
I love money, but I
came
hate
out
that I
with
need it.
It was kind of a shock
and I feel the need to
people
save
that
it.
already wanted to hate this game because of the fan base growing behind it. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like this, like, look, the game itself is not provocative or sexual at all, like, period. And if you think it is, you're mental. But of course, people were gonna come up behind the game and start quote unquote sexualizing this character because it's a fucking video game and people like their lolis and they're always gonna do that. Heck, here's the thing: the whole uwo and cunny thing. People who like say that meme also don't necessarily partake in, you know, like sexual lolicon. They might just like lolis and think they're cute, and that's literally just it. They just like the meme because it's funny, because, you know, cunny, it's cute and funny. It literally could just be like, oh, I just think this character is cute, and that's literally it. But to be fair, yes, the cry emoji and the uwo and yada yada, it is associated with you know, cunny and lolicons. But who cares? It's just a fucking video game and it's a fictional character. And so like Technicals is saying like, oh, this was like a bad play, like they shouldn't have done this. Like maybe they didn't realize what they were doing. Bullshit. They knew exactly what they were doing. Let me lower the volume a little bit. They knew exactly what they were doing, and I think it's fucking hilarious. Especially because like it makes like the people who are getting mad at it like they're fucking losing it, because like, oh no, they're dog whistling to the lolicons, those disgusting pedophiles. Like, oh my god, it's just so fucking stupid. Need to do that. Need to do what? What did I do? Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay,
So for me, there's two types of loli: stalking from panda stalking, which is hot, and then they're like Philo from Rising of the Shield Hero, who is cute and would hug and out her and would need to protect her. Yeah, like I think Diana kind of falls under that. Like, look, I've made it pretty clear that I like lolicon, even like, you know, to the point of it getting sexual. But I would not do that with Diana because like she's too cute and precious. She is daughter. This is daughter character, but I'm not gonna be surprised if some people take it further than that, because that's literally what's gonna happen, because it's the internet. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because she's not real. She's a fucking fake ass. She's a fucking clanker in a video game. She doesn't exist.
catering towards them now, which I'm not sure how true that is. This could just be a fucking insane coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. I have no like proof of that, but I highly doubt it. This meme is too prominent, and it's from Japan. I do not. I again, I highly doubt that they're not aware of the connotation that they're doing. I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they made this emote, and it's hilarious.
Or they literally are doing that, which would be crazy.
I need to get into WoW. I need to get into WoW emote, so you guys can like spam that.
This guy's kind of
just because I like women doesn't mean you would have sex with every woman. Same with every other attraction. Yeah, exactly. Like, just because you find them hot or cute doesn't mean you're gonna fuck them, because like it's just a fucking the vast majority of people you find attractive in real life, you're not gonna have sex with. Like, that's just a statistical fact. You're never gonna have sex with a fucking pixels on the screen.
crazy. I don't
It's blocked me from making a post calling out Diana's sensitive
know
design.
why he thought anyone should be on his side for this.
It's been censored instead of wearing spats. Okay, now this is where it gets a little like weirder. So this guy was saying that they censored Diana's design. Did they have any like pictures or anything like that? I don't even know what the difference is. These are video games. The spats would have been a good idea, honestly. It just looks more natural than whatever's going on here. I assume that this is what's happening here. But here's the
Red
thing.
Cat just came out, and people are like, oh, she's too fucking. And couldn't beat this one kind of out. Pragmata.
Instead of wearing spats, some kind of weird gray mess under her coat. So coat has also been. I can't read the rest.
Count has.
So it's more one piece. Yeah, it's like one weird piece going on under there. I think the spats just make more sense in my opinion, because it's supposed to be like a big overcoat. And he's like saying that it's censored. Look, technically it is censorship, and I am a anti-censorship absolutist, so I don't think they should have changed this. That being said, I think even Technicals goes into it. It is a hard sell to just say, hey, don't
This is like.
like they're gonna get mad at you, and they're gonna get mad at that.
Like,
it's kind of hard sell to go back to the
I miss
original.
the days where we could see girls' panties in video games.
Yeah, same.
It's a 7-year-old android. I think
It's an android. You that's the very clear key word you use there. Technicals, it's not Rio. It's a fucking robot. Even if it was Rio, it would still be a robot.
I saw Mike Hollow tweeted out. He said Batman couldn't beat
But at the same time, it's like I understand that, like in terms of optics, yes, it's a hard sell.
this one out of me. Like, why would you?
Can I see the badges in the Twitch set? Yes, I see that you're spamming the Uwo meme. I can see it. I just wish that I had like my own Uwo, so you guys can spam that instead because it's funnier. Again, I need a Banui Uwo. At one point, she speaks in binary code, so you know it's an android. Yeah, no, the other badges. Oh, I see it. Snowy, you have the you have the thing. Good job. Is that her crying? Hold on. Yeah, it is the YOLO. Oh, good job, Snowy. Base.
This is a very niche group of people that you are complaining.
And like, I don't really mind this change because the whole point of Pragmata is that it's kind of supposed to be a well, what's the game rated? Let me look at it real quick. I think it's a rated M, or is it like a teen? It's a teen. Okay. The point is that it's supposed to be like a very like, I mean, the robots are like, you know, they're robots and there is guns and shit, but you're fighting. There's no blood or anything like that. The point is, it's a very wholesome story. So if they want to go and like try to like, you know, desexualize the character as much as possible, I'm not gonna complain too much. Even though I'm more against this, more because like this just makes sense because like her whole deal is that she's supposed to be like wearing like a big bulky overcoat, and besides that, like what is she gonna be wearing underneath? This doesn't really make sense to like I don't know what they're going with here. It just looks like a garbled mess, a mess down there. Whereas at least this like kind of fits the design while still staying, you know, it's not, I don't think this is sexual. It's just like, it's just spats, you know? I mean, I know some people like spats a lot, but like it's literally just spats. It just fits the design better in my opinion. But I understand why they did it. It's just, I just think it's a stupid change. Because like, again, the fan base is gonna go, ooh, well, Cunny, I'm gonna plop that and yada yada yada. But the game itself is very wholesome. Like it's the same thing with like Blue Archive. Blue Archive is the Cunny fandom. However, if you actually play the game, it's very tame. It's very wholesome. Yes, there's like provocative like swimsuit skins and things like that. But overall, like the main character that you play as, Sensei, is very firm on boundaries with the students. You know, not getting like involved with them romantically or anything like that. The fandom goes fucking insane, but like in terms of like, you know, the actual in terms of like the actual game itself, it's actually very grounded, and that's why like even though people hate Blue Archive and they hate the community, the game itself is actually very squeaky clean, and they can't fight that. That's why they try so desperately to get it pulled off of Steam, and I imagine they're gonna do that for like Google and all that, but there really isn't anything wrong with it. Again, surprisingly clean when you actually look under the hood of the game. But yeah, so that's that.
I think it's fine if they want to censor a 7-year-old's panty shot. Normally the panty
Also,
shot
they're not even panties, it's spats.
are catered towards,
This looks more like bloomers, I guess.
you know, women, or the censorship of like the people just backlash and be like, you right, homie, you right. Let's get even if they are Japanese, that's a tough sell. This guy's like, I wonder why they blocked you over.
Yeah, Cabrutus is like that's where a lot of the people I agree with. Like I like Cabrutus and all a lot of that, but a lot of them like draw the fucking line at Lolicon and Shotokan. Well, mostly Lolicon because like nobody gives a fuck about, you know, the guys. But which is just stupid because at the same time it's like, you know, we're on the same side. We're supposed to all be anti-censorship, but not stuff I don't like though.
50,000 likes. Guys, don't worry about my alt account's profile picture, okay?
Why is your alt? Is that, who's that? Is this Sabrina Carpenter?
We all have our hobbies. I thought
Technicals is into white girls. Why am I not surprised?
This critique was interesting. It's translated from Arabic, a critique directed at the game Pragmata and the design of the character Diana, the little girl.
The girl design is more feminine than childish. Hinting the design is inappropriate for a child. Yes, okay, we've kind of talked about this, how Diana is like, in her design is very clearly supposed to be like an idealistic beauty, but she's still very clearly a child.
The critique says that
So trying to pretend that that's not a child, and like, oh, like it's secretly supposed to be seductive. Like, no, you're fucking retarded. Also, get Garvin's name out of your fucking
for
thing.
this one, there's a pretty stark difference in how a kid should look, right? This really does scream child to me. And you could argue that it's more of a Japanese aesthetic, but the face does have some qualities of a more aged up aesthetic. Like, it even looks like there's eye makeup here, right? But this does just remind me of like old PlayStation games too.
Yeah, like, who cares? It's still very clear that Diana is supposed to be a kid and you're supposed to be her dad saving her.
If the devs want to make an aesthetic choice, it's not really that big of a deal, but I can see the stark difference if this were to be toned down. They're like, you gotta give her a baby face.
This looks like AI to me, personally. That doesn't look right. This looks unnatural. Because it's like, it's too realistic, in my opinion.
But to be fair, I mean, I feel like either way, they were gonna lewd this character, so it doesn't really fucking matter. And people would complain about it either way. But then you have people that are on both.
Or like an edit or something, I'm not sure. People say that she's supposed to be sexual. No, she's very clear. It's a teen-rated game. Oh my god. The only thing I know about Blue Archive is the Momoy N-word meme. Those are the only things you need to know. Those are the best part of the fucking fandom. Also, like, look at the child face. That's a fucking 4-month photo. Yeah, that looks like a baby. This looks like a baby, whereas Diana's supposed to be like, you know, 7 or something like around that age.
Difference if this were to be.
Yeah, this doesn't look right to me. Yeah, an imaginary design for how she's supposed to look. Okay, well, first of all, this is like it edited. It's not official. This isn't. It's not like they had 2 designs lined up and they ended up settling for this one. No, this is somebody went in and edited this, and it just doesn't look right. I don't know. It looks way too uncanny, like exactly like you said, Snowy.
I fan, I feel like you're going this hard.
But Jenny Lowe, the design of the child character, is utterly repugnant.
To like flag that, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I promise.
Yeah, like 2,000 people like this fucking thing.
I don't like
it's so
it.
stupid.
It's disgusting. That's when I start to get a weird vibe. What do you mean it's repugnant, dude? It's just a fucking normal ass anime looking kid.
It's an anime child, whatever.
Xander Hall says, don't let
new Diana mods. I need this on my desk by next Friday. base. Don't let these chuds gaslight you. Hey, I don't care. Look, that's another fucking thing. Okay, like we already kind of went into that a little bit, but like it was gonna fucking happen. Who cares? It's a video game. Look, if someone wants to mod their game to lewd a character, that's their fucking prerogative. It's their game. If they want to go through the trouble of like making a model for that or whatever, that's entirely up to them. That is entirely up to them. And to tell them to not do so otherwise, it's just fucking stupid. Like it's none of your business. They're not hurting anyone. It's a collection of pixels on the stream. Shut the fuck up.
These chuds gaslight you, and it's an
and I'm not denying that
account literally named submissive to love.
The chuds in question.
Saying, how soon can I expect new Diana mods? I need this on my desk by next Friday. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with Patrick Ojoda. With
yeah, so what did Patrick Ojoa say?
Desk by next Friday. I don't know what the fuck that.
Summary of the last current conflict with Pragmata. Pros can't see minors without getting turned on, so they try to accuse others of pedophiles so that they don't get accused of themselves. Clever trick. Yeah, but the vast majority of people are okay. Yeah, that has nothing to do with Patrick's thing. So yeah, 1 or 2 people. Okay. People want nude mods. Okay, that's normal. That's just gonna happen. It doesn't change the fact that the game itself is not designed to be sexual. You could take literally any character and sexualize them. Have you ever seen like all the mods trying to like undo the uglification of like current characters? Like people, like there are actual legacy characters like Lara Croft, Samus, what are more modern ones? Anything pretty much in Call of Duty or like any like mainstream Western game. They go out of their way to try to make the characters as as unconventionally attractive as possible, and then people go out of their way, and so like, and then they go out of their way to like fix that and make them like actually, you know, easy on the eyes again. That's just gonna fucking happen. Because you can take literally anything, you can take literally anything and then try to like sexualize it. That's just how it is.
And
One of the first mods created by any game. It's like in this Master Chief skins.
and then it's the Squidward meme.
I don't know who this is. Oh, I get it. It's like the it's supposed to be like, you know, the Wokies. Yeah, I can see it. You know, the blue hair, they got the rainbow flag handkerchief. The vast majority of the people are just playing the dad simulator. The Tumblr, right? Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, the vast majority of people are just playing the dad simulator. And yes, there's gonna be people who want lewd mods, but there's gonna be lewd mods for literally any game that's on PC. Okay, while we're bringing that up, while we're bringing up mods, let's go a little bit into like this video about Vera, because there are mods. Because the question of modding the game has come into question, and I find it very hypocritical. Let's just put it that
when
for now.
massive companies find themselves in the middle of a controversy of their own
Anyway, okay, so basically, I'm just gonna give because like one thing that Technicals does not bring up regarding the modding thing is that Capcom has like a history, especially with Resident Evil, of like really not liking when people mod their games. And they often go out of the way to remove adult mods, and this like applies to everything. Oh, of course they allow, like, I'm pretty sure they still, let me check it and make sure it's still there. I'm pretty sure it is. Boop, boop, boom. Yeah, they like cracked down a lot on the new Requiem mods. Oh wow, okay. I'll give them, okay, if this is all true. Let me see. Oh wait, it won't let me, like, I don't have fuck. Okay, let me open up another browser real quick. No, shut up. I just want to make sure that, like, it's still around. Oh my god, am I not logged in? Yes, log in. Okay, they still have like the Tramp Stamp Leon mod. What else do we have? Score.news.net. Oh my god, there's some insane mods going out there. Oh my god. Okay, so I will give Capcom this. At least they're being thorough. I looked at it real quickly, and it seems that they are directly removing all sexual mods for their games, including the ones regarding male. So yes, even like the famous nude Leon mod is, as far as I'm aware, it has been removed. And that's fucking bullshit. Again, I will give them credit, so at least they're not like just doing the usual bullshit of like, we gotta protect their girls, but I'm gonna fucking be drooling all over Leon's naked ass over here though. So they're at least being consistent with it. So I will give them that much, but that doesn't mean this is good, period. Again, I'm an absolutist when it comes to mods. It is there. You bought that game for a full $60, now $70 price tag. It is your game. You should have the right to do whatever the fuck you want to the characters. If I want to run around with the characters all nude, or all of them as Shrek, or all of them as insert thing that makes you angry here, that's my provocative. I should have that right. Leon Twink death. they literally killed the Twink. No. But you want to get what is the woo Edim? It's where you make me say a woo. I find it funny that cat cutscenes always make the best dad games, like all the time. It's them. That is true. Well, the big ones I think of are like Kratos, or the modern God of War, and now this one. Last of Us is also a pretty big example, I guess. Death Stranding kind of is a dad game, a little bit. Is a RE8 fly swatter mod gun? Let me see. Swatter. What the fuck's the fly swatter mod? Oh, this one? No, they still have it. They still have it, thankfully. That's amazing. Well used. Okay, whatever. That's so stupid. Anyway, I respect that as even if I don't agree with it, it's at least they're standing on principle. Yes, but I also will say that they should not be doing this. Period. It is not their place to tell us what they can and what we can and can't do with our game that we paid for, and it's really fucking stupid that they're doing this. And they're primarily like going after obviously adult mods. Like I said, the nude Leon mods, the sexy outfit for Grace's mods, like those are all being scrubbed. Like they're actively going to like the popular sites and requesting take them down. We don't want these. They show like what's the word they use here? Let me see. It harms their brand, quote unquote. And that's just fucking bullshit. Like, they just don't want any sexual annotation associated with the game whatsoever. Now, for Pragmata, sure, fine. It's supposed to be a wholesome game. This is your daughter. You're her dad. You're trying to protect her. Yada yada. Fine. To an extent, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, no, because I own this. I can do with it as I please. If I want her running around in assless chaps, that's my prerogative because it's my game. I can do what I want, what I please with it. It's more of a wider thing regarding like ownership of data. Like, do I own the games that I paid for? Evidently not, because of what according to Capcom at least, and a lot of other companies, unfortunately. I should be able to do with it as I please. So, like, that is just the flat fucking statement. Beginning end of it. It's mine. I do with it what I want. Period. That's it. So that's unfortunate. And the reason why this is kind of being brought up is, hold on, wait. Let me see. Because apparently during this game's, if I can find the person. There they are. Is that the person? Yeah, I don't know if that's the person that they're talking about. Oh god.
So this was the
Let me see. Get a woo for free, I guess. Okay, I'll give you a free woo. There you go. Hope you enjoy. There's the 2 dad game, RE8 dad game. Asura's Wrath. I didn't even know that those ones were dad games. But I mean, I haven't played a lot of Capcom games recently, unfortunately. Hit the big women's behind with the fly swat. Oh, isn't that sexual? Of course not.
Original post that they had made that is getting roasted. Really? Why the F are you partnering with people?
Okay, so like that's what they're complaining about, from what I understand, the double standard. This person over here, I can't seem to find like a bigger picture of them. Apparently, how do I say this and not be entirely rude? She was or is, well, I mean, she still is. She's a, how do I speak? She's a porn star. She's an ex-porn star. A lot of people are like bringing up the fact that she's trans, which that's not the problem. The problem, at least with me, in my opinion, is that she's an ex-porn star and did that for many years. Well, about 3 years apparently. And the point is, like, Capcom has this like really stringent opinion that you can't have anything sexual about their games, even though they have sexy characters and yada yada. But they're willing to have a brand ambassador who's a ex-porn star, who you can still find her material out there to this day, and that's the big issue. And I can see why people are calling it out and why it's a big double standard. Like, I don't mind that Capcom is like calling in like brand ambassadors to promote the game, and like I will give her credit. Like, she said that she did not like that lifestyle. She quit it after 3 years because she found it very degrading. She claims that she was forced into it, but at the same time, like, I always take like ex-porn star stories of being like, oh, I was forced into it. I always take those very with like a massive pile of salt, because I'm pretty sure you didn't mind the money. And also apparently her girlfriend at the time was the one who pushed her into it. So it's just like, but like if she came to the conclusion that, hey, I don't like this, it feels degrading, it's not it's work that I do not feel proud of, and I do not like associating with it, good for her for moving on, and she's now like a full-time YouTuber, and congratulations. I'm glad she moved on and she was able to find her something she could be more comfortable with or proud of even. But that being said, it's still very hypocritical, this whole associating with someone with a past like that and then getting after players because they want to modify their games that they own to their liking, and even if that means adding sexual things to the game. So it's just really fucking stupid. I hate that double standard. Like, if they don't want any sexual things whatsoever, why are they associating with her? I think the best thing they could do is just stop policing people's bullshit regarding the game. Let people play the game how they want, and change it however they want, because it's their data, it's their game, they can do whatever. And then this whole hypocrisy just goes away. It doesn't matter that they're associating with her, because like, who cares? Like, she cleaned up her act and she's doing her thing. This boils down to hypocrisy. I know there's some people who are probably turning it into like into the whole the trans debate and all that. That's not my issue. My issue is, of course, it's just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Anyway, what is it? So reading the 300 thing, I don't believe past employment would bar someone from doing this sort of thing. Also, they haven't done adult content for 7 years, and they're assuming not promoting it. I mean, they are promoting it. They literally are appearing alongside the game right here. This is an official Capcom post. Capcom USA, as promoted by Spear Hunter. I think they were doing a live stream with her. Yeah, she is actively promoting the game. And I get it. Like, there's a whole thing. The only reason this is being brought up is because of Capcom's stance on sexual content, and how it's damaging to the brand, quote unquote. Again, that is their words, not mine. Interesting face. So again, that's why people are getting upset about it, or at least that's why I'm getting upset about it, because like it's very much a case of like, you know, have your cake and eat it too, you know. Like, we're gonna associate with somebody who has a past like that, but at the same time, we're gonna wag our finger at you and remove all the mods that you want to associate with and have fun with to, you know, modify your game because it damages the brand, quote unquote. And I know what you're trying to say in Rio with this whole like, oh, she did it 7 years ago and like it's like she doesn't do that anymore and yada yada. But the fact of the matter is like your history follows you. Like that's just how it is. If you know this person, then you probably will know that, hey, this person used to be associated with that kind of thing. And like I said, I don't mind. I'm glad that she moved on to something that she finds more happiness in. It's just the hypocrisy of it. Again, and I still say that like the easy way to clean this up is just stay out of people's business, and nobody will like call, and then people will probably still be complaining because again, like people, it's the trans thing and all that, but they will have like no legitimate reason to complain because I think this is a legitimate reason to complain because of Capcom's history of like what they do with modders and all that. I'm repeating myself, but you get my theory. You get my drifts. My theory is games like this don't have sexy mods because it makes it harder to sell sexy costumes DLC for characters later. That's not a bad theory, actually. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but also games like Persona have like sexy suits, and then people would make sexy mods for the characters themselves, you know, like bust size, things like that. And then if those mods are removed, it's usually because of the parent size, like Nexus, you know, there are a bunch of nannies over there. They remove all like the mods that let you like you know, make the characters bustier and yada yada. Like RE9 had a big lady as a costume for the new Grace character. The big lady is a new costume for Grace there. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, like, it's probably like a proponent, but I also think Capcom is just being fucking nannies, and it's just They don't care about sexy stuff. They care about their bottom line. That's a good theory. Yeah. Either way, it's still annoying, and I don't know. You can find a way to coexist with that. Like again, like for all the shit I give Bethesda, at least they haven't like tried to stranglehold modding. And oftentimes people, modders will one up Bethesda's. Like they will release like a pay to play Creation Club armor, and then a modder will see that as a challenge and make their own version for free. And it would be oftentimes be better and better looking, better stats and yada yada yada. It's just overall just a better mod than the one that you have to pay like $5 for. So Bethesda could very easily like clamp down and say like no mods ever forever anymore unless it's through the Creation Club, period. They could easily do that. Thankfully they haven't gotten that far yet. So but this kind of like, you can argue that that's what Capcom's doing. They don't want mods because, you know, again, they could just because they want to be able to sell it to you, which again can make some sense. I don't know if you remember the Path of Exile 2 drama about them being anti-sexy mods, but then having sexy costumes in the game. Okay. I mean, I don't remember that, but like, yeah, I can definitely see some games doing that. It's just that, excuse me, it's just that like, they're not selling us like sexy Leon mods, you know, with him like in a crop top or like completely nude or anything like that. There's sexy costumes, but then there's like, you know, straight up basically porn. And that's the one that they seem to be clamping down on. I mean, but it is a good theory. But either way, like, it's still scummy, and they shouldn't be able to tell you what you can and can't do with the game that you own. Again, that's just like, again, like that's my bottom line, and that's just the line in the sand that I'm going to fight on. That is the hill I will die on. I know there was that one Violet or something that didn't want to post a PC because they didn't want sexy mods and they were selling sexy skins of that character. Yeah, that one is like, again, it's like, I think it could be a case by case basis. It depends on what the studio is doing. I think Violet, I know what game you're talking about. The one with like, it was supposed to be a spiritual successor to Dino Crisis. It ended up being like really fucking shitty. It was like they were trying to play both sides. They were trying to capitulate to like, you know, the usual suspects and say like, we don't want people to sexualize our characters and yada yada yada, but we're willing to sexualize our characters and then charge you for it. That's a particularly special case where they're again playing both sides, trying to, you know, virtue signal at the same time as, like, you know, try to get their bottom dollar out of it. And I don't know, that was such a bad game. It didn't work. Let's make that clear. But God, I think it was called Code Violet. That was like a very, very uniquely bad case. But yeah, that's basically what's going on with the Pragmata thing. Like, I do kind of agree with what Technical said, is like, you can't get involved, period, because if you complain about the lowly and saying it's too sexual, then like, well, you sound like you find her attractive, so what does that make you? Really, and so if you defend it, you're also a pedophile and yada yada. Really, the only way to win is just to become a lolicon and say plap 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 from the get-go. So at least you're having fun no matter what. So yeah, lolicons win. Pragmata's a good game. Capcom are still retards, and yeah, that's just the basic gist of it.
Kind of games.
Anyway, let's see him do like a smoke out.
Whatever. Me personally, I'm not gonna play it. I haven't played any games besides.
That's fine. He only plays like shitty free-to-play games anyway.
And boy, do I waste a lot of fucking time playing video games and watching shows. Right now, I'm catching up on Invincible.
So fucking racist. He does this every time. He tries to do like a smoke out and pretend. Okay, that wasn't as good. I thought he was gonna do pretty good that time, actually, but no. Anyway. Anyway, that's just basically the Pragmata situation. Like I said, I knew this was gonna happen, that everyone was gonna lose their collective minds regarding the game because it has a child character in it, and the child is vaguely beautiful or whatever. Anyway, it's this is just like a little cherry on top with this particular creator. And whatever. We'll see what else happens. I hope the game does well, and I hope it makes all the right people angry. Anyway, moving on. There was a recent case, I think this happened, like, I heard about this literally this morning, where apparently there was an interview with a excuse me, I need to take a sip real quick. There was an interview with a mangaka artist who basically completely misrepresented the community because she was speaking to the UN. Now, if you don't know anything about the UN and their relationship with Japan, Japan is the nail in their, is the thorn in their side that they just can't get rid of, and how it's allegedly a backwards island where women are mistreated and they sexualize children, and they have manga and video games that encourages violence and yada yada yada. You know, the typical 90s talking point, but attributed to an entire culture and country, and it's coming from like the most like retarded group ever, being the United Nations, who are totally not involved with mistreatment of citizens, allegedly committing war crimes and raping the local population of women by their peacekeeping forces. Not to mention having a human rights council that's headed by countries that have like the worst human rights period in the world. No. They're the government. They represent the governments of all over the world, and they have nothing but our best interests in mind. So when they say that Japan is a cesspit, a hellhole, they have to be right? Anyway, so that's like the history of the UN's relationship with Japan, and there's a recent this is a recent
Back
like
in 2024,
thing going
the UN
on.
made a report that claimed that manga and anime promotes gender stereotypes and violence against women and children. Pretty
Based.
ironic considering that the anime and manga medium actually has less gender stereotypes than Western media does, but okay, UN. It's also ironic for another reason, which is just disgusting, because the UN peacekeepers have been accused of doing things that I would never be able to even say on YouTube.
I mean, I can say, like I said, the UN peacekeepers have been reported, and there are documentations of them actively raping and pillaging through local populations of centers that they're supposed to be protecting.
This is to say that the
I'm
UN
just gonna
is a very
openly say it.
corrupt and morally bankrupt organization. But the UN is in the news once again in anime circles over the last 24 hours or so, because now they decided to hold this interview with the mangaka of Witch Hat Atelier, to which Kodansha has also been promoting this interview. The United Nations interviewer really tries to push this narrative that female mangakas don't really exist and are only now starting to become somewhat of a thing. It's
Which
very
is so fucking stupid. Let's go with like this video from Chibi, because he points out like 5 examples like off his hand, because like Chibi's like an absolute massive manga and anime nerd. He just gives like 5 examples of famous female mangaka and their series and how they've gone on to like influence the modern day.
Largest manga publishing companies just sided with and it has harmful rhetoric towards women. And so Kodansha, one of the largest manga publishing companies, just sided with those individuals, the UN and the UK. And I feel like I don't really need to explain how bad that is. I mean, with the articles I just shown and what the UK and UN has been doing just in the last year, even outside of anime and manga, when it comes to digital ID, it is United Nations. And as I already showcased with this article, this...
Yeah. This again, there's a big history of the United Nations trying to shit on Japan.
Showcased with this.
There's this one that we just saw. The UN will say the animation, according to the report, the animation needs to change. So here are the animation summaries of the report. The working group on the issue, human rights and transnational cooperation, other businesses, Japan, July 2023. Initiatives to promote diversity, inclusivity, including LGBT persons and among other groups. Yay! We just gotta force it into every fucking. The UN's a fucking joke. Vegeta United proposes to ban various forms of. God, this is so.
It's obvious that you have a manga offer for some reason. Having an interview with an organization, a part of the United Nations, that is actively promoting and pushing censorship of anime and manga, and saying that anime and manga is violent towards women, it's misogynistic towards women, that it needs to be censored, it needs to
promote more gay things, and yada yada yada, all this other bullshit.
Inclusivity and diversity in manga. Basically, this entire role in anime now are just now finally allowing women to have a prominent role in creation of manga and anime, which is an outright bullshit lie, because anyone that has dabbled in manga and is aware of manga and anime knows that there is a lot of very famous and well-known authors within manga. Like, I'll drop a few series. Sailor Moon, written by a woman, and Sailor Moon is one of the most iconic series of all time. It stands to the same level and degree as, for instance, Dragon Ball. It is an iconic manga series that you still know about even if you have never watched a series or read the manga. Another series, we have Inuyasha, written by a woman. Inuyasha really...
I love how one thing... Inuyasha is like a special case in particular, because Inuyasha depicts a relationship between like a teenage girl and like a 3,000-year-old demon, and I've seen so many people try to paint Inuyasha like, oh my god, it promotes grooming and yada yada, like she's just a child and yada yada yada. And yet, growing up, I never watched Inuyasha, but I knew so many girls who adored Inuyasha. Like, it was primarily girls around my age who loved Inuyasha. In particular, a girlfriend I had in high school, She adored that series, and she had the biggest crush on Inuyasha himself, in which she was kind of like, for a time, which like she was the girl in the story. Again, I forgot her name. But it's just so fucking funny. So many people want to like paint this as like a terrible, terrible series, and at the same time, it appeals to so many young girls and young women. And then they call that bad, and then they go and read the Minotaur Come books that we've mentioned a few times in the past. But anyway, moving forward.
That the creator of Inuyasha helped actually spread, rom
Sakiri was made by a woman. Sakiri is that's the third one.
coms and romance stories to a different level within the manga industry. Then you also have the writer of Demon Slayer is a
Demon
woman,
Slayer.
which-
Oh yeah, Demon Slayer. That's a really good fucking port because Demon Slayer is like the manga / anime to come to the West. Like I think we all remember like how a few years back like Demon Slayer was like knocking every other movie out of the park during that year it came out, that summer it came out. Like I think even Marvel movies were failing because of it. Because people were tired of that and they wanted to see something more real and authentic with like the Demon Slayer movie. I think Chainsaw Man is made by a guy. But I'll give you two more examples of manga that I love. I mentioned it a few times. I think I turned my childhood friend. I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. I love this manga. I still need to fucking finish it. It is a boy love manga made by a woman. And I know this in particular because like it was such a big news story when the mangaka came out and started calling out the translators who were trying to turn it into a story about like that. Oh, actually, this character he's actually a she and she's trans and yada yada yada. Great artist, great mangaka. I love her work. She's amazing. Let me get her name. I don't remember Japanese names. I'm sorry. Asusa Banjo. Again, she does amazing work. And one that particularly affects me because I read this when I was really, really, really young. The Gray Man. I fucking love The Gray Man. The Gray Man was probably it might have been my first manga series I ever like truly got into as a kid. I remember picking it up in middle school. Actually, no. The first manga I ever read was Bleach. Yeah, it was Bleach. But the first one that like I truly fell in love with and like I just kept wanting more and more of it was The Gray Man. And The Gray Man is by Katsura Hoshino, excuse me. Who is a woman. I adored The Gray Man growing up. It was so fucking good. And I'm also incredibly mad because The Gray Man to this day is not done. I understand that the Kasura Hoshino-san is apparently she's a very sickly lady and she's getting on in years now. She should be like close to her 50s now, I imagine. Okay, she's 25. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, she's getting on in years now and she's naturally very sickly and she often has to put her progress down, and plus I'm working on other stuff, which is unfortunate because I love The Gray Man so much and I wanted to finish it. Just finish it already, please, man. Either way, the first manga that ever truly made me get absorbed into like Japanese anime and the art style and this type of storytelling, excuse me, was written by a woman, and she started writing it. When was the first release? Back in 2004. So this narrative that this lady, the person behind the Witch Hat Atelier, Kamome Surahama, she's just straight up fucking lying. She's just a massive fucking liar. Again, like the first example that Chibi gave, this is a great Wojak post by the way, was Sailor Moon, which came out in the 80s. Or early 90s. Like, when did Sailor Moon come out? I actually might be wrong about that. Let me see. First manga release date. 91. Okay. So like early 90s. So to pretend that this was like this is a new thing that is barely happening. We're barely seeing big name female mangaka coming out of the woodworks. Or like they're also like I'm not gonna go through like the entire list, but from what I heard about this, like apparently like they're claiming that like a lot of mangaka women are having to like lie about their the fact that they're women and pretend to be male offers so that their books will sell, which is such bullshit. That's shit that happened back in like the 1700s. Like it's pretty well known that in the first edition of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley lied and pretended to be a man to help sell the books, but by the time she did the second edition, she put her name properly on the book, and guess what? It still sold like crazy for the era. It's still regarded as like one of the best horror stories of all time, and like a pioneer in science fiction and horror. And this again, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in when did Frankenstein come out? In 1818. and the UN is trying to pretend like, oh, we're barely making progress today. The first successful female author, and yet it reminds me of that meme of how like let me see if I can find it. First woman meme. After featuring here. Let me see if I can find this. Pioneer in Disney, beginning 1955. I can't find it. There was like oh fuck, go fuck off. Instagram, I hate it. Anyway, ready. Also, welcome, Goober on loan. Sorry if I didn't say anything. I was getting into it. Demon Slayer was apparently made by one. It was, yeah. Did the sun come out or did you spot me? Request like it was 10. I'm assuming because you really Jesus, Goober, what's going on? You're laying it on pretty thick. Anyway, we're talking about like, you know, UN bullying Japan because they want to control culture and yada yada yada. Anyway, so like this is just fucking bullshit to claim that apparently it's only now that female mangaka are getting the attention they deserve, when this has been a thing since like the 80s and even the 70s.
Absolutely insane. Basically completely
Anyway, so like moving on here.
Clear that
Also, hello, Kirakami.
Operating in bad faith and once again trying to push specific untrue narratives onto the medium. It's unfortunate that the manga of Witch Hat Shirahama has even played into their game by giving them this inner legends in boys.
And here, women mangas have been quite numerous. Yeah, since the 1970s. So like these are people like calling them out and making it clear that hey, you're being fucking retarded. Come on, wait, what I do? What am I being horny? what horny thing did I do? Creators hold a certain property. Yeah, and there's a ton of fucking doujin writers for adult manga, especially again, particularly women. It's just there's a lot of horny women in general. Increasing now, they've been around droves for a long time. So yeah, this is blatant rewriting of history.
Another Japanese account.
Moe art bashing the spread propaganda using the so like that's an interesting thing regarding this thing with the UN and how they're getting involved here. Like Chibi showed, he has like example after example after example of the UN basically trying to brute force this this like trying to make Japan conform to their values and trying to make them fall in line. But now they're doing this very sneaky thing where they're partnering with this let me try to get the picture of the actual manga. Yeah, with this mangaka Kamome. And it's very sneaky and it's very, very dirty. And it's very Gramscian, actually. And I gave you guys the history lesson a little while ago, but just to remind you, Gramsci was a communist idealist and great thinker. He was probably one of their more profound thinkers of their movements. And in his prison letters, he basically outlined a plan to infiltrate institutions, media outlets, culture in general, by just like ingraining yourself into it and then slowly changing the culture to their ideology of eventually communist ideology. And that's basically what the UN is doing here. But like the alarm has already gone off, because like again, they were being very heavy-handed in the past. But now that like, okay, we already raised the alarm, so let's try to be sneaky about it now, which is just incredibly stupid, for obvious reasons. But again, it's the same strategy. Okay, we can't change them, so let's join them and slowly change them over time while in the group. But people are already, they know that they're here, they know what they're trying to do, and they're not buying it. So again, very very Gramscian style. Again, I recommend that one video from Short Fat Otaku. It's again, Dav has kind of lost the plot a little bit in recent years, but like besides that, that's still a really good video on his part. It's a really good explanation as to the strategy of basically institutional infiltration, and that's how a lot of our current culture has been basically subverted from the inside. Like everything that we've seen like the past 10 years with everything, like the rise of woke and yada yada, it's basically because of Gramsci. They were following his playbook, and I just find it's funny because again, like they're trying to do it again, or the UN is trying to do it with manga and Japanese culture. It's just that they're doing it as a last resort, and they're doing it very very blatantly, and again, nobody's fucking buying. It's like in Metal Gear Solid, where you already raised the alarm, but you're still trying to sneak around. It's very very silly, and I don't know why they think this is gonna work. And yeah, and also it just tells you like how this publisher is just not worth it. Don't deal with them. I also have to put my doubts into this creator and also this manga, because I've been seeing a lot of this Witch Hat Atelier, because apparently he got his manga or his anime released recently, or something like that. I saw it on like Tumblr, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cute. I actually might want to look into this. But like, if the artist is like this and is like ingraining herself into this mindset and culture to basically subvert her own culture, I don't really want to support her. is basically what the conclusion I'm coming to. Even if the book is good, even if the art style is like, I'll admit, like just looking at the art, like it's a really cute looking anime. Like I saw the art of the anime in the book in the manga before I heard about all this. So it's just really unfortunate that she let herself become basically a sleeper cell for the deep state. It's basically in a way. So unfortunate. There's been exposed mainstream due to Morning Glory, Milky Fire. Like I said, the fucking Monster Come thing. Oh, is that what you were calling me horny for? I haven't read that book yet. That's why they've been trying to do the manga forever. Saying, yeah, you kind of ejecting the souls of Japanese places and telling them that you should change this because your people overseas will not like it. Basically, like we got to make it for a global audience or the modern audience. That's what they say to justify. Like, this is the future, guys. The modern audience will show up. Never mind that every Western thing that's come out that was modern audience oriented has failed. Heck, even quite a few Japanese titles that were modern audience coded, whatever you want to say, failed. Everyone remembers Forspoken and how much of a train wreck that game was. But I can only hope that they're now starting to realize, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Unfortunately, I think this manga author, I think she might be a true believer, unfortunately. And which is unfortunate, because I think she has like legitimate talent just looking at her art. She's also a bit of a fucking child, because after this all came out and everyone started calling her out on it, like, hey, don't you realize that the UN has been trying to subjugate slash undermine your country's manga industry for like years and years now. And her response to that was to go on a blocking spree. Basically going around and blocking everyone and their mother and telling them, and just basically not wanting to deal with it. Including Chibi, by the way. Now Chibi is like a pretty infamous figure. Like I kind of think like she blocked him just because he was one of the people criticizing her, because like she got a ton of criticism for this interview. But it is kind of interesting that apparently like bigger companies have not blocked Chibi yet. Like he has a lot of people who have blocked him, obviously. But weirdly, places like Crunchyroll have kind of like just like taken the punches and like even follow him back. But this lady couldn't take it and just immediately blocked him. So it's just like, wow, like really just putting up the defenses and kind of proving everyone's point by not willing to like fight back on it. Anyway, so yeah, that's what went down recently. Again, really unfortunate. This lady has just been ideologically captured, but I am glad that like a lot of people, Western fans and especially Japanese fans, have come out of the woodworks to tell her that she's full of it and not to buy into the BS that they're pushing. Again, reminder: allegedly have committed tons of war crimes on populations that they were supposed to be protecting, including rape and murder and pillaging. Allegedly. And they're trying to tell us that we're the degenerates because we read fucking lowly manga or whatever. It's just insane. Noise ruin everything. First gaming, no anime, sad. Like, thankfully, don't get too doomer pill TOA, because like thankfully, you know, people are speaking up more about it, and people are starting to like, you know, for lack of a better word, wake up to it. And there's been a lot of pushback recently. You know, DEI initiatives and yada yada have been kind of like going on the downhill, have been receiving a downward trend. And like, even if they're getting like big ESG money, you know, from like places like BlackRock and other investors, money is finite. They can't just keep pumping it, pumping in that cash and then and just hope that it'll work. People are rejecting it, and bomb after bomb after bomb. Eventually, something has to give, and thankfully, they're starting to lose. They're starting to lose hope on it. Like they're still like pushing back. Again, this whole interview is like an example of that. They're still trying to subvert, you know, people who actually like care about the hobby and want to like, you know, enjoy it and be left alone. But there is pushback, and we are fighting back. So thankfully, it's not as bad as it once was. It is getting better, even if it feels like it's very slow sometimes. But yeah, that's basically it regarding this this creator. Again, unfortunate. I'm unfortunate because like again, her art style is actually like honestly really charming. But well, whatever. For every piece of shit mangaka like her, there's like dozens who actually, you know, care about their community and their work and want their industry to thrive and succeed and not be subverted by outside actors. So good on them. Let's go read Furin instead if you want a good like anime about like medieval times or whatever. Anyway, that's basically it. Garlic bread, share, good sir. I want some garlic bread. Actually, no, I'm actually pretty full. I had some like pad thai earlier. I'm still kind of burpy from it. It's really good though. People go through fictional media to escape reality, forcing stuff into media ruins that. And eventually, people are going to get very pissed when they can't escape. And rest. Yeah, like that's why I started talking about this. Like I probably already like gave this spew before, but the whole reason like I went from like only doing like, you know, let's plays and video game content and getting more vocal was because, well, I care about this content, and you know, I don't want to lose it. So it's basically I just wanted to be in my hole forever and just like enjoy and talk about what I want to talk about and the things that I enjoy. but they kept, you know, trying to break in and destroy it and ruin everything I love. So of course that now I'm gonna like start to fight back against it. Like, I just wanted to be left alone. We all just wanted to be left alone, but of course they couldn't just do that. They had to subvert it. They had to put their spin on it. So that's why people were speaking up and getting fed up. Again, these are all like people like me. Like, we're all just like closeted fucking nerds who were perfectly happy. But you rile up us enough, and eventually, you know, a cornered animal is eventually gonna bite back. You know, this is how it is. Anyway, stop being complacent and actively fight against these people. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I decided to stop being complacent, and I hope you guys are okay with that. You know, me like bringing it up and talking about it more. And like, this is the best I can do. Like, I have a small following, but you know, it's what I can do. You know, bring attention to it and encourage people to, you know, clap back a little bit. The show stay winning. People keep just wanting to grow until they outlaw grilling. Yep, basically, it's all is that.
Recently, Halo Studios, also known as
Thank you,
343 Industries,
BOA.
and a $1 paper mask.
Anyway, moving on. There was a recent release of an insider speaking about their experiences at 343. Oh, excuse me, I don't want to dead name them. Halo Studios, and it turns out that they were very, very, very much mistreated over there, and they were fired for basically bullshit reasons. And it turns out that the studio that's currently the custodians of the beloved Halo series are a bunch of fucking jackasses. Anyway,
Is once again under fire. Only this time not for the usual reasons of broken games, out of such developers, or missing features, but instead the studio's latest controversy revolves around some very serious allegations regarding the management's treatment.
And keep in mind, 343 and Halo Studios are a terrible company. Not just because of like the terrible mismanagement of the series, where basically every game they've released is like bad and awful and nobody likes them. Whether you're talking about Halo 4, 5, and Infinite, they've all had their problems, but they basically gone on record to say that they hired people specifically who did not like Halo. They've hired people who hate milsims, and they go out of their way to hire people specifically just because, you guessed it, they fit DEI boxes. They add diversity to the workplace, and that's all they care about. So they're doing all the worst practices, and then they get mad at you for not liking it. Oh yeah, and they're also actively hostile to the player base, because they would go and snap at you for I think there was like a really good quote here. I'll just let the video play. Okay, so like, let's look at what they're
of and retaliation against its employees. Now, I'm a bit late to this news, and you've probably already seen it by now, but I'm going to be pointing out a few specific things that I don't see otherwise following his Halo's form.
Okay, so yeah, so when this all started with Glenn Israel, he was one of their biggest artists who worked at there the past 13 years. You might remember that he was fired or let go. I don't know if he quit. I think he was fired. I think he was fired, yeah. And this happened, he talked about it last October, I believe. But since then, I think in the past week or so, or like this past week actually, he has come out and openly stated how there's more to it now. And here's what the raw deal you can talk about now.
Discrimination, illegal harassment, retaliation.
And he's like, he has filed like an official lawsuit, or officially filed that like this is what they were doing within the company.
49.44.211 states that, quote, a provision in an agreement by an employer. Recent news in a new LinkedIn post in which Glenn makes some very serious accusations, and perhaps just as importantly starts it off with in Title 49, Chapter 44, Section 211 of the Revised Code of Washington. A lot of people I've seen are glossing over this and what it means specifically, so I actually went and read what this is. And
okay, so basically it's like he's quoting a legal code, like basically like actual law. And what this basically surmounts to is that he's not only accusing them of like these actions of like and we'll go into like the actual specific details of what he's accusing them of, but he's also quoting law, which means he's effectively filing for it. Now, when it comes to like, you know, accusing people online, and like we all know this, like a lot of accusations are just plainly bullshit. Because like, you know, we always hear about this, like, oh, I'm accusing my ex of abusing me when we were together, and never mind the fact that that was like 5 years ago, and I'm not gonna actually like file a police report or anything, and I also didn't file a police report, you know, 5 years ago, but I'm doing it now because it's popular to call out this person, and I might get some, hopefully some money, or at least some like internet clout for this, all that. Allegedly does a lot of heavy lifting, yeah, basically. But here's the difference between like, you know, that you know, hypothetical that we see a lot regarding like, you know, internet drama, and this is like he actively is quoting law, like actual things, and like, you know, written law that he can like bring up and point them towards. Like he's effectively filing like these things, like, so basically he's putting his money where his mouth is rather than simply making a call out post. And if we go into the actual accusations,
unethical and or unlawful acts committed by senior Halo Studios representatives and organizations themselves. In his post, Glenn claims that there were, and I quote, numerous unethical and or unlawful acts committed by senior Halo Studios representatives, including but not limited to blacklisting, fraud, rampant favoritism/cronyism, manifesting as hiring and career growth interference, and multiple harassment campaigns designed to provoke constructive discharge of unwanted employees otherwise in good standing. He goes on to allege that after filing formal complaints with Microsoft's HR department in June of 2025, an HR representative threatened retaliation on first contact and promised to quash any further investigation. I'm not exactly sure what is meant by retaliation on first contact, but suffice to say it definitely sounded like Microsoft's HR department was threatening Glenn Israel in an effort to silence him. He goes on to say he was harassed by senior Halo Studios representatives over the course of several days in order to, quote, manufacture a cause for my termination in July of 2025. What this harassment campaign was specifically, and what exactly led him to being fired, has not been disclosed as of the making of this video. He also alleges that the HR department was informed of these issues daily, yet took no action to correct it. When he tried to escalate the issue to Microsoft's workplace investigation team, the same HR representative that threatened him reported his case was closed, and Microsoft more or less failed to do any proper investigation of his claims, and tried to shove the whole thing under the rug whilst firing him. Glenn further adds that based on other former employees who have contacted him privately, he suspects that this is a somewhat regular occurrence where Microsoft lays off employees who file legitimate complaints and deliberately compartmentalizes their HR department in an effort to avoid responsibility for the company's and the management's actions. Lastly, toward the end of the post, he claims that Microsoft also openly violated RCW 49.12.250, which states, once again according to the Washington State Legislature website, that employers must, within 21 calendar days of receiving a written request from a former employee, furnish a signed written statement stating their effective date of discharge and, if applicable, a reason for said discharge. My guess here, and this is only a guess, is that Glenn wanted to get in writing an explanation for why he was fired, and Microsoft, of course, wouldn't provide one. In addition to the Glenn Israel posts, another weird thing that has come out of the last few weeks is related to Pierre Hintze, the current head of Halo Studios.
Oh my god, of course. I'm just sorry, it's just like, these people are doing all these shady shit. They're allegedly doing favoritism, harassment, and again, allegedly. We gotta make that clear. Allegedly doing all this terrible shit, and then the head of production has fucking pronouns in his bio.
The guy that many have claimed was going to be the new light for Halo, since he, according to some,
Chunky
fixed
Chief.
MCC. But that's another video for another day. The issue regarding Pierre today specifically revolves around the treatment of the Dig Site team, a group of modders that worked for 343 with the goal of restoring cut content from classic Halo games to a playable state. The Dig Site team dissolved near the end of 2024 due to 343 and Microsoft refusing to pay them, despite giving them deadlines and expecting full-time hours to be delivered on a strictly voluntary basis, meaning they were working for free. Some members of the Dig Site team also
not discriminating over modders that they allegedly hired and unwilling to pay for
specified
them.
reasons for leaving included, quote, disagreements with how Microsoft views the community, a topic we're going to revisit a little bit later in this video, but back to DigSite for now. It came out recently that during a meeting with the DigSite developers, Pierre Hintze allegedly told them that they could leave the team since, unlike him, they weren't born with a gun pointed at their head, meaning they wouldn't understand real stakes and consequences.
That's so fucking bullshit. Like, they were supposed to be paid, so technically this was, like, it was, like, legitimate work. It was legitimate business that was, like, you know, the metaphoric gun to their head. Like, if they don't do well, you get fired. That's usually what happens when you're working on something. And I get it. This guy's supposed to be, like, the production lead and yada yada, but this is so fucking pretentious. It's like, not to diminish his work, but, like, he's diminishing their work and saying how, like, they don't matter. And I mean, apparently they didn't, because they didn't pay them in the end. Allegedly.
Nobody, including the DigSite team members themselves, knows exactly what Pierre meant by that, but to say the least, it comes off as more than a little arrogant, if not unhinged. To make matters even worse, the gaming news website Twisted Voxel claims to have received an email from an anonymous Halo Studios employee near the end of 2024. While they had initially debated its credibility, the recent LinkedIn post from Glenn Israel seemed to corroborate the anonymous employee's story. In the email, it's claimed that by late 2023, morale among employees at Halo Studios had reached an all-time low due to layoffs and canceled merit increases. That is to say that the company promised its employees raises for exemplary performance, only to not deliver on said promises. Following this, leadership mandated an office policy for select employees with less than a month's notice, despite the fact that some of those employees had relocated during the pandemic under flexible work policies that had been encouraged by Microsoft themselves. The email goes on to place much of the blame for the ongoing situation on Pierre Hintze specifically, and described his leadership style as, quote, an old boys club that fosters a toxic work environment and resists accountability.
I don't like that word. I mean, like, this is what the leaker said, old boys club, but really, I think it's just, like, whoever he prefers to have on top. Old boys club, like, I don't like it because it implies that, oh, it's like a toxic masculinity thing. No, I think it's just favoritism, and I'm pretty sure there's at least a few people on his board who are women. And let's be honest, the first part of the story went into, like, HR departments. How many HR departments do you know of that actually have, like, guys working in them? So yeah, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of women who are contributing to this. Contributing to this quote-unquote old boys club.
Pierre Hintze allegedly pushed for the release of Halo Infinite.
Did it credit to make only one game, saying it continues to get worse with every release. Exactly.
Knowing it wasn't ready.
I mean, that's the whole thing behind the whole Halo Studios rebrand. It's basically a smokescreen. Like, this is like the perfect meme to it, this whole thing. Of how, like, oh, guys, we're not 343 anymore. Those losers are gone. You know, the ones who ruined Halo, who made those slop games 4, 5, and Infinite. Ha! Don't worry about this. Don't worry, guys. Those fuckers are gone. We're Halo Studios now. Never mind the fact that we literally only fired like 11 people from that studio, and you know, all the new management. You know, most of the leadership is still here, and yeah, like never mind all that. Never mind that.
Is once again
we're the new guys on the block. We're gonna fix Halo.
Unrealistic Infinite had 2/3 of its content cut, which makes Pierre Hintze allegedly pushed for the release of Halo Infinite, knowing it wasn't ready, and later.
Yeah, Infinite was released in a really toxic, really bad state. Like, they had promised like couch co-op from launch, and it didn't get co-op until I think like 2 years after the fact. It was such a shitty launch. Like, oh my, Infinite is like, I don't even know why it's still like struggling on to this day. I guess there are people still playing it, surprisingly.
Iran was responsible for directing many of the cuts to the campaign.
It can't be considered a success.
An article by a news outlet, The Gamer.
But I don't know. I mean, it is Halo. Halo, the name alone carries a lot of weight, even though like the vast majority of people, I'm pretty sure, are aware that it's not Halo anymore.
That reported that Halo Infinite had 2/3 of its content cut, which makes a lot of sense because there was clearly a massive discrepancy between what we got and what was advertised regarding the campaign. The email from the employee continues to say that these cuts had a further devastating impact on the team's.
I mean, it was already delayed. It was already had been delayed several times. I think it had like a 6-7 year development, and they I mean, even if it was massively overdue, it probably still needed more time. Though, to be fair, a big chunk of the reason why it was overdue is because they're not hiring the proper people for the job.
Overall morale. As a result, employees began questioning leadership decisions, but were met with.
But even these people who were like, probably didn't deserve the positions, even they're starting to question what's going on.
Dismissive responses. Furthermore, the developer also claimed that new Halo projects were being started without
Are we
key
in 2
leadership
hours in?
roles,
Okay, we're good.
including a lack of leadership roles familiar with the Unreal Engine, which, if you weren't already aware, the Combat Evolved reboot is going to be running on.
Yeah, another fucking game running on Unreal, because of course. Why are they switching the engine up? That doesn't make sense. And it just looks so bad. I hate the look of the new game. I heard some like interesting things that apparently the new campaign evolved, game. Apparently some interesting things that apparently it's gonna have like some prequel missions were taking place on Reach, apparently, as well as missions where you fight alongside Sergeant Johnson. Again, like prequel missions, which is cool. Like there's some cool ideas that like it seems like they're bringing in, but then everything else around it's just like, we don't need this.
Still, the email described
They're literally just farming nostalgia because they can't make anything new that people like.
Unrealistic timelines for work to be completed, which is even further corroborated by recent rumors that the Campaign Evolved reboot is going to be releasing not at the end of 2026, but sometime instead this summer, possibly in late July. And
wait, really? It's coming out that soon?
In late July, which is even further corroborated by recent rumors that the Campaign Evolved reboot is going to be releasing not at the end of 2026. But
I'm so tired, guys. The state of Halo is just so fucking bad. I don't. At this point, Halo just needs to go dormant for like the next, I don't know, a decade at least, and then if it's ever picked up again, it needs to be by someone else. I don't know who. Not Bungie anymore, because Bungie does not exist anymore as we knew him. Modern Bungie could never make a good Halo, in my opinion. We just look at Marathon, look at that trash fire, and then like this, what they eventually did to Destiny, the Destiny series. But definitely not Halo Studios, 343 or whatever you want to call them. They're definitely not. I don't know who would be a good steward for the Halo series, but FromSoft. I don't know. I can't really think of any good like studios these days besides like indie studios. And for something like Halo, it would have to be a relatively decent sized studio. And I can't think of anything like that that's like that are good with shooters. Unless like, I don't know, the Expedition 33 studio could like learn how to work with a shooter very quickly. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's such a poor state. We're not. Halo's just so bad. Most AAA studios are trash. Yeah, like the only AAA studio that I like still is From Software, and that's basically it. And I'm also just waiting for the day that they'll disappoint me, because like that's what happens with every studio. Like I used to love Bungie, I used to love Bethesda, I used to love Blizzard, like all these great names that were like top of their game, top of the world back in like the 2010s. They're just not it anymore. Bloodborne too. I don't know if you meant to meme there, but it's fine. I don't know. I mean, I am disappointed that From Software hasn't given us a Bloodborne 2, but that's more because like they don't have time, because they have like other ideas, and like Miyazaki himself has basically stated like, I want to do it. I want to be the one that does Bloodborne 2. However, I have a lot of other stuff on my plate right now. I will get to it eventually. So, you know, as somebody who also has a lot of on his plate, I understand. I get it.
Sometime instead this summer, possibly in late July. And judging by the reveal from...
By the way, don't buy the Halo Combat Evolved. I mean, Campaign Evolved. God, it's such a stupid name. Don't buy it. Even if you're like me and you're a massive Halo fan, don't buy it. Do not pre-order it. Do not buy it. Wait at least like a week or two, and I imagine it needs to prove that it's worth it before you actually dip into it. And honestly, right now, I have zero hope for it. We'll see.
Just a few months ago.
Again, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, just maybe, they will somehow pull a win off with the campaign involved, even though they shouldn't be charging $60 for what's basically just a rehash of a 20-plus-year-old game. Actually, over 20 years old game. Combat Evolved came out in 2001. So they want to charge $60 for it. They already confirmed the price, I'm pretty sure. It's just it's not worth it. The From Software Nintendo game might be the fall. It might be. You're not wrong. I mean, so far the biggest disappointment with Dustbloods, that's the game you're talking about, good sir. The biggest downside that I know that I can definitively say about it is just that it's an exclusive to the Switch too. I will be watching gameplay of it. I will be looking into things about it, and I don't know. I'd rather just wait until it like re-releases on Steam and then enjoy it there. So let's remaster. Again, they can't come up with anything good or new, so we're just gonna recreate it.
It's looking kind of rough. This is, to say the least, a few months
Yeah,
ago.
that's from the trailer. Look at this shit.
It's looking kind of...
Unreal is a awful piece of shit engine. I hate Unreal so much.
rough.
I hate that it's become like the fucking Swiss Army knife for all game devs because they're unwilling to make their own engines that fit their ideas, or at the very least, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They had their own engine. They had the Blam engine, but they're just unwilling to like. But no, we need to streamline everything. We need to use the same toolkit that everybody's using, because that way we can offload some of the work to satellite studios, you know, so that we can overwork them and then like, you know, dissolve the studio within like a month or two after we finish. It's just such a fucking broken state the industry is in right now.
This is, to say the least,
and Unreal's like the sputtering, cut open heart at the center of all.
Concerning not only for gamers but also for the games industry as a whole, and of course the employees at Halo Studios. Now, with the news out of the way, I want to bring up a few things that nobody else seems to be talking about.
Yeah, and what he's bringing up here, and I'll just like quick fire this, is how everyone seems to just be like, in the community as a whole, they're just like trying to like coping over like, oh, this can be fine, let's give him a chance and yada yada. And like, this is awful, like this news like about the whole about these like alleged allegations of these awful things that apparently the studio was taking part in. A lot of people are coming up and saying like, well, that's bad, but those people aren't there anymore. Most of them are already gone. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And no, they're not. These are quotes from currently, as far as we're aware, still working people inside the studio. And like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, they are actively hostile to the directors. Let's go through a few of them. Let's talk about that first really big one I saw. Okay. Okay, you should have just apologized offhand calling consumers entitled. So basically, someone's just saying like how like, hey, maybe you shouldn't like, you know, piss on your fan base. And the response from this guy, which was I forgot the name of this developer. I think it was right here, Jeff Easterling, who is their story lead at 343, still working there. And his response to like, hey, maybe don't like call us entitled consumers, because I think this was like in response to their
on how Microsoft used the community. This is a Reddit post from a now deleted account formerly belonging to Grim Brother 1, whose real name is Jeff Easterling. In it, he claims that, quote, modern consumers have reached a level of entitlement and expectation that often far surpasses rational standard. This post was in response to Halo fans being upset that the Master Chief Collection 2 years after release was still not in a functional state. Jeff
By the way, there's still, like you said, the Master Chief Collection is 10 plus years old now, and it still is a buggy mess. I still see issues. Like just the other day, I noticed for the first time just how broken the female the light armor Spartans, because we can't have male or female. That's harmful to certain demographics. We can't acknowledge sex or gender or body types that match your body types that match your physical sex. Anyway, the light armor has massive clipping issues that were not present in the original version of Halo Reach. I like to use the light armor. I'm just gonna call it what it is, the female armor set, because it has a fat dump truck ass. But I don't like using it because it has massive clipping issues where like a lot of the armor pieces are like floating in midair, or the shoulder pads are like clipping into the chest, and other issues like that. It's just broken because of how they ported it over to the current system that's running Master Chief Collection, and that has apparently been a problem since like at least 2019, and it still isn't. They still haven't fucking fixed it. And then this asshole is calling us entitled because we're asking, hey, why don't you fix the bugs of the game you release and make it playable? And like the Master Chief Collection, which is supposed to be the definitive Halo collection of all the past games, hey, why don't you fix it? No, I'm not sorry. Modern day consumers have this level of entitlement. Again, this is 2 years after the original release of the Master Chief Collection on PC. And it's just, oh god. No selling, displaying the racist chest. Exactly.
This post was in response to Halo fans being
And
upset
yes, I am a
that the
gooner. Thank you for noticing, good sir.
Master Chief Collection 2 years after release was still not in a functional state. Said Halo
Let's
Studios.
see some other ones. Sometimes I wish that everyone that plays a game should have to do community service for a month at a developer, as a developer for perspective low. So don't want to be rude, but it's not like we don't pay for games. Quad Proco. Popular modern belief consumers aren't owed near what that says we think that we're entitled to. Yeah, so just because you paid for the game doesn't mean you're owed a good product. You fucking consumer, you entitled gamer. And I've spoken to this on like multiple occasions, how it seems like in particular in entertainment, and it's kind of spreading into what do you call it, into movies as well, but particularly with video games, how it's this weird mentality that you can't complain about it and you're allowed to talk down to and shit on the people who are complaining. Again, the common the common metaphor going on here. No, keep playing it. The common metaphor is like if you go to a restaurant and order a steak, and then they bring you, or like you order the chicken, and then they plop a undercooked chicken in front of you, and then they tell you, and then you mention, hey, this chicken's undercooked, and they'll any reasonable restaurant will tell you like, oh, we're so sorry, we'll redo that for you, and it'll be a free meal, and yada yada yada. We'll even give you like a free dessert or something like that. But no, game developers take that concept, and instead of like, being like, hey, you undercooked my meal, they respond by, you fucking entitled chud. Give that piece of chicken 30 more minutes, and it will be a perfect chicken. And then that's going into like the fucking live service model and all that. And it's just, why is this accepted in gaming culture to have this attitude that this Jeff Easterling is having, the developers, to call your customers entitled for wanting a product that's finished and working, and say that like you're not owed anything. In fact, when we quite literally are, because we paid for it. It's such a weird mentality it seems to only be in video games for some reason. I guess again, kind of I can't speak today. I'm particularly bad, I've noticed. It's kind of spreading into movies as well, but that's mostly because movies are starting to feel the the fire under their ass as well from like movie critics, like actual movie critics calling them out and telling them, hey, and they're starting to see calling them out and saying that their products are shit, and then now they're actually starting to see their numbers drop as well. Yeah, and look at Marvel, look at Star Wars. So Harris, let them cook. That is still the most iconic fucking line. Let them cook. Entitled Chud and Quest. I love being entitled Chud. It's so good. God fucking it. As a former line cook, if it's busy, I'm deaf yelled. I've definitely yelled that jokingly. At least it was a joke. Like, you know, you're not gonna actually put an undercooked meal in front of a customer. But like, it's just this weird mentality that they're trying to put into video games. Okay, so like that's another example.
And much and valid.
And there's another one where like they're mocking the players. They changed the iconic art style and literally ruined my childhood. And then like smiley winky face. Like, yeah, I'm the guy who changed what you loved about the game, and we made it ours. And it's just, again, the fucking entitlement. Support engagement. This guy. Let's see what his rant had to say.
Support and engagement coordinator. This is what he had to say a few years ago when a fan reached out to him on Twitter regarding the fact that the Halo servers were down. The tweet reads,
oh yeah, this was fucking ridiculous. Look at this. Okay, so they were complaining about the servers being down, and his response was, hey my friend, I wasn't aware this was down, as I was paying attention to Russia bombing a country of innocent people and going through the emotional response of being a father and thinking about my son growing up in the world of war. I'll be following up now on this. Are you fucking kidding me? You're a community manager who takes support messages about a product, a live service product. And this was during like the invasion of Ukraine, February 2022. We all remember where we were that time. I love the pure virtual signaling. Like, your account exists. He specifically called, like, you know, these people because like they're the support staff. He called Halo support and all the support staff. Like, hey, we're playing a game and you're responsible for keeping it running. Why are you bringing up global conflict that has nothing to do with this guy's talking and then using it as an excuse as to why you're not doing your fucking job? It's just like this level, this degree of like, it's not even just entitlement like you mentioned, TOA. It's literally just it's talking down to the player as like, oh, you care about your game and not this other thing that's happening. That's clearly you're the one in the wrong. You're the morally deficient one, and you need to be and you're the one who needs to be scolded for what you're going for your priorities and yada yada yada. This is so I don't even know how to comprehend it. It's just such a I didn't even know about this tweet. It's magical, just the level of entitlement and like going beyond that. In front of you. I mean, there is those places where they cook in front of you. Well, yeah, there's that, but you know, the point is like that's a show, but they're still gonna put like, you know, the thing that you ordered cooked in front of you when it's done. You don't know there's a genocide in Gaza card. Literally that, except for like he literally had a job and was just calling them out for not doing his job, and we had to pull out the old Gaza card and all that. It's so I didn't even know about this. It's good God. Anyway, moving forward. Oh yeah, and then they had this little animation. This is an official canon animation, by the way. I'm just gonna let it play.
Almost those exact words used to whisk away fans' concern regarding the arguably pay-to-win microtransaction system that was implemented into Halo 5.
Wait, won't wreck packs with special weapons break the exquisitely refined balance of arena multiplayer? Secure your noise hole, soldier. Grown-ups are talking.
That was
really that is so fucking immature. Like, legitimate complaints about like the microtransactions that has become like a plague in modern Halo and modern shooters in general, but really Halo, which had such like a perfect form. Like again, Halo Reach had it perfect. The whole earn cosmetics as you play through multiplayer. Just play multiplayer, you earn the cosmetics. It was done. They had it set. The formula was given to them. Bungie just handed them the perfect setup, and then turning it into talking down and literally saying the grown-ups are talking, literally calling their fan base children, or daring to question their design, their ideals. Like, what the fuck? Life might be hard, but others have it harder. Lamau. It's just
The trailer produced by, to say the least, and
anyway. So the reason why Broken Circle, by the way, this is who we're looking at here, regarding this recent look into the story, and I will actually, we don't really need this one anymore. We'll look at that later. The reason why he brought it up, and I think it's a really good point, because like as of right now, these are only allegations regarding what's going on with 343 and, excuse me, Halo Studios. Don't want a dead name. Like these are just allegations, and like, you know, allegations are, again, they're allegations. You can't, this isn't true. This isn't gospel yet. We need to take it with a grain of salt. Like, this might come out and that this was completely fabricated and it's all fucking lies. Blah, 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 blah. However, after going through all that evidence of how this this attitude that the studio very clearly has when speaking to their fans, is it hard to believe that they would go so far as to do all these other things? You know, again, all these allegations of favoritism, HR basically hounding and harassing employees for daring to speak out of line, and this again, the whole old boys club mentality that they had at the studio. After all these real life on air for everyone to see public interactions with the studio, is it really that hard to believe that they would go this far on top of everything? I don't think so. When you look at it like a court case, for example, you often look at a person's merit. Like, how are they perceived by others in their community? Like, are they considered to be, you know, like a examination of their, I forgot what the proper term is, but like an examination of like their morals and how they're perceived by other people. Like, are they, like, you know, a productive member of the society or the community, and yada yada. This is kind of similar to that. If somebody, like, again, in like a random court case, if somebody is perceived as being very violent at home or at school or at work, and then they're accused of like, hey, they robbed that bank, or like not even robbed their bank, they robbed the convenience store. They use like the testimonies of, like, you know, the people that know them personally, and then if they say like, yeah, he's really violent, he's really has a tendency to act out and be really rude and yada yada yada, that is taken into account when coming up with a final verdict. Like, can we see that this person would come up to this could go in and do these sort of things? That's used in court. I think this is a pretty good example that this studio would definitely do this. I have perfect community for this. So let me look at that. Let me see if this is safe first. The fuck? Oh my god, you got the depression. Damn, I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was that fucking easy. Also, I should probably turn that off, because that is, I know for a fact that that is like, that is probably copyright music. Anyway, thank you for that though. I probably should have played that. Oh no, we're gonna get fucking crushed. One of my past streams did get hit with a copyright strike and got demonetized as if I make any money, period. But whatever, the point is, I got a warning and yada yada, but who cares? Anyway. But yeah, I think that was actually a really good take on Broken Circle's part, like, you know, pointing out that this studio has a history of just basically being little bastards. Report no it gets there. How could you? But yeah, this studio has like a history of being jackasses, so it does stand to reason that yes, I think I can very easily believe that they would go this far. Again, these are still allegations, so allegedly, we love that word here. We don't, this isn't confirmed. But I will keep an eye on these sort of things. Like maybe in the coming weeks we'll hear like a proper lawsuit against Bungie. From like maybe there'll be like a coordinated lawsuit of like several former employees coming together and like, you know, pushing against Bungie, maybe asking for Discovery or whatever. Discovery takes forever, but certainly not something what they would like to deal with, I imagine. As of right now, as far as I'm aware, but did I say Bungie? I meant Halo Studios or 343. As far as I'm aware, they haven't given. This was posted like a day ago, yesterday. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, they haven't given any official. What's the word? They haven't given any official response to these allegations. But I imagine we'll hear something within like a week or so. So I'll keep an eye on this, and maybe we'll talk about this again next week. But either way. 343 Halo Studios is floundering, and I am loving it because they're I hate them. I fucking hate them. I'm not gonna even deny it. I hate Halo Studios. I hate what they've done to my baby. I fucking I am bitter, and therefore I am happy that they are getting ringed out. And thank you for the redeem, TOA. Thank you. Go. Mwah. Thank you for the redeem. And thank you for being here. Thanks for everyone for being here, like listening to my bullshit rants and all that. Also, I want to switch music real quick. I think it might be the music that's making me like fumble my words. I think I need something more chill. Also, there's like a party going on outside, and I wasn't invited, and I'm very upset about it. Let's just do. Let's do this one. It's been a while. This is more chill and like all that. Anyway, moving on. This is another new news source I've come across. Jester Bell. Also, I should probably point out. I thought that was really funny. Oh fuck. Where is it? Come on, load. Regarding that video with. Where are you? Halo. Here it is.
Sorry.
I love how in the recommendations, one of the people that was recommended was Zypher. Let me see if I can like get it to like pop up again. And I'm gonna be a little bit of shit. I'm gonna be a little mean right now, you women. I know we have to tolerate. We'll tolerate her for a little bit because surprisingly she has some good information right now. But before we get into that, let me just be a little bit of a bully. This guy, Hidden Zypher, Zypheria. I bring him up because okay, so he was talking about like all this, like he like a lot of creators are talking about what's going on with Halo Studios and how things are going badly. However, Zypher is one of the most infamous Halo Studios / 343 glazers in the entirety of the internet. It wasn't until like maybe like about a year ago that he started to finally kind of like see the light and realize maybe these guys are bad. Maybe 343 Studios are not treating the Halo IP good. And I imagine that was a massive revelation for this guy. Because again, like he was a massive fucking glazer for Halo. And just trying like every little thing that they possibly did that could be slightly interpreted as good. He's like, we're back, baby. Halo Infinite is good now. We're going in the right direction. Like, goddamn boys, Halo's back. And like, of course, he was just fucking coping. And I really love this thumbnail because like it's only like again in the past like couple of years that he finally started to like realize and wake up that like, hey, maybe we should start criticizing the $1 million company. Big company doesn't have my best interest in mind. I'll say it so. And like I said, it was only recently that he started like fucking realizing it. And like I've given my spiel about how like insider content creators, you know, guys like him who have like, I think he has like over like 500,000. I don't know actually how many people does he have following. Yeah, like over 630,000. Holy shit. Over 630K subscribers. He's an insider. He gets invited out to events. He gets flown out to like LA and Houston or wherever these studios on. The most recent one I know he was invited to, he went to the marathon events. So yeah, he's also in Bungie's pocket too. And I think only now is he finally speaking up. And I imagine the invites are starting to dry up. And he's not getting them as often anymore. Because he's actually doing the right thing and being honest and calling out the big companies for being assholes and, you know, mistreating the customers and the IP that they're working on, which I appreciate. So I will admit that this guy is growing. But again, my spiel: don't trust the people who get early access and all that, because they are being bought out. Even if the thing that's being given to them is just early access, that is still payments. They are getting privileges that, you know, you or I will never see. We always have to pay for the product. We don't get flown out to fancy dinners and hotels to get chummied up and then sold and then basically be pressured into like giving good reviews and yada yada yada. Always have these people on a short leash. Like, if you like them, sure. Like I still kind of like the guy. I think he's a little silly, a little overly dramatic, but I followed him for a long time, and I really legitimately valued his opinion, and I kind of bought into his copium. I'll admit that. Like, I was kind of like giving in and be like, oh my god, Halo might be back, guys. And no, it was never back. And it never has been and never will be, not anytime soon. Also, I'm getting deja vu right now. I feel like I've been here before, talking about this exact thing. Guess the check started to bounce. Slow. But yeah, just be like, again, my reminder, like, just always be what's the word? Be skeptical about the people who get like early access and all these benefits, because they're never going to be 100% honest with you. The people you really should be like listening to are the haters, you know, the people who are scorned, the people who are blacklisted, because those people will be 100% honest. They have nothing to gain, so they're not gonna like toe the line. Which is why you should listen to me only, exclusively. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, I'm done being mean with him just for a little bit. Anyway, back to the women. Jester is cool. I like Jester. She's really she tells it how it is, and she's on our side, so to speak. She knows what's going on, and she's gonna tell us about what's going on with Marvel and how much money the newest Endgame movie costs, because holy shit, like, even I like was agape when I saw the price tag. We shouldn't trust the X-Shells because they only call stuff out because they no longer get favors from Big Corpo, not because of the principle. That is true. I try to be nice and say, like, at least like they're coming around and realizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't have been like that. But you are right to an extent that, yeah, like, you know, I lost, basically, you know, they lost everything, so now it's time to be now it's time to, like, you know, attack back, you know. But yeah, negativity does get clicks. I mean, that's why I'm the most negative person I know. That's why what do you think I do this? That's why I'm trying to get it on that grifter game. Anyway, but yeah, the point is, yeah, you are right. Like, maybe they're realizing, hey, the being toxically positive isn't getting us anywhere, so I want to keep getting money, so let's be negative. Let's be toxic in general. Anyway, let's go hear about what's going on with Marvel.
Hello everyone, Jesterbell. Hello
Also,
everyone, Jesterbell, aka Female Fro. Hello.
So that plop was kind of cute. I'm not gonna deny. she's a cute girl.
Everyone, Jesterbell, aka Female Frodo Baggins is here. Thought that we would.
Also, I love that nickname that she has for herself, Female Frodo Baggins, which kind of fits. She kind of does look like a female Frodo.
Start the video off with a chair.
She kind of does look like if Elijah Wood had like a sister. Does Elijah Wood have a sister? I don't know.
Flop, which we haven't.
Look, I can call out when someone's cute. Let me just be normal.
Done in a very, very long time, But today we
I
are
swear
going
I'm only watching it because of like her actual takes, not other reasons.
to be talking about the catastrophe of Avengers Doomsday
So am I
and how
subscribed?
it keeps
Yeah.
getting worse, and how much is Marvel really willing to gamble on this movie, and how
what the hell
could
is
that
this?
possibly pay off with what they are risking with this film? So the news
What?
that brings us here
Yo,
today
it's terrible.
is that we got a report.
All right, let's just fast forward. We don't have to listen to the whole thing. So apparently, the price tag for the new Avengers movie is $700 million.
As that Park Place report.
Yeah, budget rumor hits $700 million total spend over $500 million, guys. And like I imagine like a big chunk of that is literally just for Robert Downey Jr. and like all his amenities, because like I imagine he has something like a personal trailer park going on the set. And like, you know, he's a big fucking money, and they really had to bring him back. Plus, you know, like all the other old names, because nobody cares about modern Marvel. So we had to bring all the old people back, or at least as many as it would agree to.
And that's the website.
That was like money laundering. I mean, can you even do that at this point with this many, with this much money, this many monies, this much money?
That's not just expensive, that's historic. There has never been, to my knowledge, a movie that wants to watch.
But yeah, okay, like she doesn't have any more grass, but basically that's it. Like that's what the big moneymaker is. And to go more into like my thoughts on it, it's just really you probably have heard of the term superhero fatigue, and that combined with like, you know, the sheer drop of quality in Marvel movies since Endgame, how every movie after Endgame and all the TV series, like pretty much every one of them was like a failure. I can't think of a single Marvel movie post Endgame that actually did well in the box office. I know the Marvels is one of the biggest failures in history. Before the release of before Joker 2, it was the biggest comic book movie flop in history, period. So people have bad writing fatigue. I guess you're right about that. I think you have a point with that too, like, because like it's like people still love superheroes and they still think they're cool. It's just a problem with the fact that it's just bad. And there's also like, you know, a bit of the thing about like Marvel movies is that they're kind of normie oriented. Because like there are obviously hardcore comic book fans and superhero fans, but to make the money that Marvel was making before they all went downhill, it really depended on like, you know, the normie fan base, people who went to movies just because like, oh, this is the next big blockbuster thing, and I just wanted something I can take my family to, and we can have like a fun evening and yada yada. Spend too much money on popcorn and yada and all that stuff. So you do have to appeal to those people too. And like I bring this up because like that was seen with like for example, like the Transformers movie, Transformers 1, the animated movie. That was a fantastic movie. It bombed. Nobody wanted to watch it, and that's just simply because and I use Transformers as an example because Transformers used to be the Marvel slop movie of its day, like the original Transformers Michael Bay movies. Not original, obviously they weren't the original, but you know what I mean. The Michael Bay Transformer movies were the blockbuster slop movies. Everyone looks back on them, and they were like the predecessors to like modern Marvel. But when you made an actual good movie, which was, you know, like Transformers 1, the animated one, with like, it was just like borderline perfect. The only real thing that was bad was like Bumblebee's voice actor, but that's a completely separate thing. But despite being such a good movie, which I do recommend by the way, nobody showed up because Transformer fatigue or interest in Transformers has basically fallen off. You can't make movies like that anymore with those massive budgets. unless you can appeal to the normies, the regular ass people. To be fair though, Transformers 1 had also like apparently really bad marketing from what I understand, so that also contributed to it. But the point is that even if you make a good movie, that doesn't mean it's going to be successful. A lot of bad things fail, unfortunately, because like they cost too much and not enough people paid for it. This is how it is sometimes. And often, a lot of times, horrible things succeed. Just look at the Mario Galaxy movie. That is, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not a good movie. And that's gonna make $1 billion because you know, slop for children. They just want eye candy. And not in a sexy way. They just want candy like that's just literally just explosions and glitter and all that other good garbage. Like again, the Galaxy movie, the Minecraft movie, they made tons of fucking money, but they're not good movies. They're really bad movies actually. So really, unfortunately, it kind of comes down to appealing to the most people. And Marvel used to be able to do that, but because of its reputation now, because of again, like what I'm trying to say here is like there's a ton of different factors as to why Marvel is failing. And yes, it is the writing, but it can also contribute. It can also just be a case of like, you know, the audience is just not showing up. The normies are not showing up, and that's where the big money comes in. Especially if your movie is gonna cost over $500 million just to make in the first place. Oh my god. Marvel movie can't be serious. There has to be a joke every 3 minutes. I mean, yeah, that's like the Marvel humor. Everyone knows about that, and like everyone's tired of it. And like I'm not disagreeing with you, TOA. Marvel writing quality is in the fucking gutter. It is terrible, but there's also like a lot of other factors going into things, so that's why I bring it up. Like the first 3 Michael Bay films. Love the Revenge of the Fallen quote. I am right underneath Jenny Scrub. God, Michael Bay's Transformers they were something. Again, that's why I use them as like the movie slop examples. Even if they're bad, they still made money. This is how it is. But Marvel's having that opposite problem where like they're bad and they're not making money anymore. So whatever's going on with this movie, I imagine. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we got the quarter from Miss Jester. Let's go into like what did Demian has to say about this.
That happened within Disney, and it's not being framed honestly. If I gotta be real.
Let me see if I can find
Kevin Feige, who runs the Marvel side of Disney, confirmed Endgame.
Yeah, this is okay. First of all, regarding like what their strategy going forward with Endgame, this kind of gives us it's kind of like a big red flag as to what they're doing. Kevin says that Avengers Doomsday takes place right where Avengers Endgame left off. Interesting. We were just talking about when did Marvel started going downhill, like definitively, to the point that like there was no return. It started going very, very, very obviously badly. There is a definitive cutoff point, and it's right there. Avengers Endgame. A lot of people, most people, I'd argue, would tell you, yeah, that was the last good Marvel movie. That was the last good Marvel anything. Including like the TV shows and such and such. So with that mentality, and then we have other interviews here coming up where, let's see. No, that's not it. No, show me the goodness. Yeah, then we have like guys like this, Joss Dolls. By the way, I want to like prefix this all with saying how this guy was like recently fired, and he was like one of the big oh my god, I just can't find the actual. Yeah, this Joss Dawes fellow. He was just recently let off, literally just a few days ago, as of this stream, and he was one of their biggest illustrators. Like, has been working there for like basically almost 13 years now, and I think he was even told in like one of his in this questionnaire thread that he did on Twitter, speaking about how when he was being laid off, he was like sitting in a boardroom with a bunch of like execs and everything. And they literally were in a room that the walls were lined with his paintings and concept art, as they told him, yeah, we can't work with you anymore, unfortunately. We're gonna have to let you go. And like there's a whole other connection to this regarding like the big theory is because like they want to Disney wants to start doing AI bullshit and basically just have like a small team of artists for like basically slight editing and yada yada yada. You know, the bullshit, the minor things that they can get away with. That they would desperately need for a human hand for. And then there's like the reaction to it, the combination of because like the big push from the left is that like AI is bad and terrible, and I largely agree with them. Like I don't want AI to replace like real human artists, if at all possible. And so like they were all for this guy, but then as he was talking about his experience over there, and mentioning things of like this, then they started finding out that, oh, wait a minute, he likes people like Neurotic and the Critical Drinker. Oh, and he's also apparently let's see, he's also apparently a Christian and conservative. And now suddenly, oh, we don't care about him anymore. I'm glad he's fired now, actually. This was a good change. See how like their mentality, it just flip-flops depending on what's going on. Either you're on my side or you're not. And if you're not on my side, then you deserve every bad thing that happens to you. Interesting, huh? And like I would also like to like put a little asterisk here. Like I know I often talk about like layoffs and things like that, and how like I'll admit it, I even oftentimes laugh at them. But here's the difference. This guy did his job, and he did his job well. When I say certain people should be fired, and I celebrate when they get fired, it's because they're like DEI hires, or they were put there specifically just to fill quota. They're not actually doing a good job, or they're actually actively contributing to bloat and the negative performance of the studio. We just talked about Halo Studios and how these people are like assholes and they deserve to be fired. I wish they would get replaced, because like they're actively doing a bad job and ruining the IP and the legacy of Halo. This guy was there during Endgame and all like the good parts of Avengers. Like even if nothing else, like he was just a concept artist. He was contributing in like a pretty simplistic way that didn't like overall affect like the story. Like really it's the writing. We just talked about that. That's the problem with modern Marvel. But visually it still looks beautiful and great. And he was like contributing to that. So I think he was doing his job, and he was doing his job well. And I don't think he should have been fired. But because he's Christian, because he's white, because he likes people like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, he's the enemy, and therefore he deserved this. He should have been kicked off. And like even says here, yeah, he's a proud Christian. Do is click on try to see that you wouldn't have felt bad in the first place. Yep. Again, we are not the same. They, like I'm talking to these kind of people. You celebrate people getting fired because they have they belong to certain creeds or have certain certain traits about them that they cannot change, you know, being white or Christian. I like it when people get fired because they're bad at their jobs. We are not the same. Oh my god. What this was historically anti-union, anti-something else. Was that the other one? Oh my god. Fucking. I mean, I don't. Again, I already have like mixed feelings about unions. They could be good, they can be bad. A lot of modern unions are pretty bad. Anyway, that's not the big story here, though. Like this is. I feel bad for this guy and all the other like legitimate artists who were fired. But it's interesting what's going on here. Recent show series shut down. It's because they were speaking to their audience anymore. Yeah, so a lot of these people who were fired are now opening up and they're admitting that, like, yeah, DEI was very intrinsically part of the culture and what they were doing, and they're slowly pushing it back. So, I imagine that Endgame, a big reason why they're not Endgame, Doomsday, a big reason why they're kind of like skipping the past, like, what, 7 years or so, or how long ever it's been since when did Endgame come out? Let me see. Release date 2019, so it was like 8 years ago. So it's been a while. So like so everything since everything in the past like 7-8 years has basically been pushed to the side. And there's also admittance that, yeah, they're starting to like break away from this DEI/woke mentality regarding the writing and presentation of their movies. They did the experiment. They tried it. It didn't work. In fact, it cost them a lot of money, a massive amount of money. Again, multiple movie and multiple movie failures and TV series ended up flopping and failing and costing Disney millions upon millions. I wouldn't be surprised if they've lost multiple billions over the past several years, because 7 years is a pretty long time, and they had a lot of projects that just flopped, that went nowhere. Ironheart, She-Hulk, The Marvels, Captain America: The Brave New World, Echo, the list goes on. I think the only success that I can kind of think of was the Loki show. I think that one did all right. But one okay show is not gonna save multiple dozens of failures. Just saying. So again, like, I don't know the exact number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the billions at this point. And they're dropping in an additional 700 million on this movie. So I bring this all up because I'm wondering, is Doomsday going to go down the route of, hey, maybe we should make a movie for the fans and try to make this like old Marvel, when we were like, winning and making money and not, just like hard leading on progressive politics and all that, and preaching to our fan base instead of like, entertaining them. It's wild that these people attack Christians for being anti-gay and progressive, but they say queers for Palestine. Yeah, that's a whole other fucking thing, which is just so insane. Again, like, we talked a little bit about like how the Human Rights Board was headed by certain countries. Well, that's one of them, and they're very much not of this to say they're not as progressive as they are, and they would be willing to, like, show them to the nearest rooftop exit. Anyway, also welcome Market Cardona crew. We're getting really spicy here, but hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining the platoon. Your complimentary 6-pack of Corollas is waiting for you in the bags. Hope you enjoy. Yes, the money laundry. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Like, it depends. Well, I guess we'll see. Like, I'm not particularly excited to go watch the movie, Doomsday. But if I hear that it's actually kind of good, I mean, I'll probably watch it like a second or third weekend. Well, I don't know. We'll see. People said season 1 and 2 are good. Okay, yeah. I heard similar things from like my siblings, because they actually watched the Loki. I think that's the only thing they liked from Marvel. I mean, I think they went and watched Thunderbolts. They liked it, but my parents, my brothers are kind of, they're not really good judges of quality entertainment. They kind of just want something to, like, watch and and just turn their brains off too. Which, I mean, that's understandable, but you know, I don't like giving money to bad places, but or bad entertainment. But you know, that's just me. 7 seasons. I might. I don't know. Like I said, if it's good, I will pay to watch it. I will go into the theater and I will drink a beer while enjoying it. But we'll see. These are good signs. Again, like I feel really bad for this creator, De Amaro, but it does seem like he is painting a picture of like a change in mentality and culture within Marvel Studios, and hopefully this is at the very least, this is like a sign that they are shifting in the right direction, and maybe Disney as a whole is real. I mean, Disney's still an evil fucking company, but you know, if they're an evil funky company that at least makes decent entertainment, well, you know, that's a step in the right direction, right? But we'll see. So this is something I just wanted to bring up. Anyway, I saw this pop up. I want to watch this real quick. Okay, I'm just gonna really quickly go over this. Johnny Somali, he's a fucking nuisance, a nuisance streamer. Let's see a few of the things he's done. Where is I just want to see like a greatest hit compilation of all the shit he's done. Okay, I don't have any. It's gonna be kind of hard to get through them, but basically, he thunder outside. Oh no, thunder and jackrabbits. You know what happens when that happens. Anyway, basically, if you don't know what a nuisance streamer is, they basically go around and go into public and just act like an asshole and like make people uncomfortable and weird. And they particularly seem to like to go to like Asian countries, particularly Japan, Korea, and also, well, Asian countries in general, but the biggest ones are usually Japan and Korea, simply because Asian cultures tend to have like a very strong societal expectation of politeness and being, you know, not being a jackass. And so like they can get like the best reactions out of these people because they're not used to, you know, loud and annoying Americans coming in and just making fools of themselves. And a few examples was that Johnny Somali was like whacking people with a fish. He went up to like a statue of that commemorated rape survivors during the invasion of Korea in around World War II. And he was like fucking basically molesting the statue, which is just insane. And he knew what the statue was representing, so yikes. Generally just going around and yelling like a fucking moron and in public places, subways and things like that. He also created deepfakes of like another a Korean streamer who was basically making deepfakes of them like making out and the two of them nude together in bed, and you know, other similar sexual harassment things. And but yeah, so basically he's just a fucking moron and absolute piece of shit. I mean, just listen to him. Like, let's just listen to him for a little bit.
I know for a fact I'm not gonna go to jail. Not one day in jail. I'm gonna laugh my off when all these are saying I'm going for 30 years, 20 years, 5 years, 10 years. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm not even gonna do one day, bro. They're gonna give me a fine. They're gonna say, don't come back to Korea. You're the one who's gonna look so dumb when I don't get any jail time.
Ace Attorney as his prosecutor.
Bro, I'm gonna laugh like a villain.
Unfortunately, we can't because the prosecution and the trial is already over, TOA. He was found guilty on all charges. He is going to jail. The unfortunate thing is that apparently he's only set for 6 months. 6 months after all this nonsense. And like that, I just gave you like the breezy little thing of what he did. And but now people are. Let me see.
Know how Johnny Somali was going to go, what type of content he was going
well, we don't know how he got such a light sentence, like after all the stuff he did. I mean, he's getting 6 months with hard labor. I don't know if it's hard labor, but the point is, like, it's not gonna be a fun time. But the point is, like, I, like many people, agree that like that is way too fucking light. But according to so like this is just like a rehash of the trial, like how it went and like how he was eventually found guilty. And then the judge gave the final verdict of 6 months. But in Korea, you're allowed to appeal for additional time by the prosecutors. And it seems like the prosecutors are going to appeal. And because of the way the prosecution works, he basically has to stay in jail minimum double the sentence. So minimum it's going to be it's not confirmed yet, like this is going to happen, but it seems like it is going to at least double the sentence to a year and possibly longer depending on how the prosecutor's pleas are listened to. So assuming the appeal goes through, he's guaranteed at least an additional 6 months, and I think they're asking for like hopefully like 2 or 3 years. It could increase up to like, you know, that much. I want him gone for at least 2 years. Like he needs to do that, because there are other cases similar to this where a guy also did something like this, got sent to prison for only about a year, and then as soon as he was out, he was doing the same damn shit again, making an ass of himself and making people uncomfortable and just being fucking awful. So yeah, this is the basic gist of it. This has been like a case that's been ongoing for like since the end of last year, since like around I want to say like fall last year, like around October. So he's already been kind of punished to begin with, because he's been like forced to stay in Korea. He hasn't been in prison, he's just been in the country and not allowed to leave. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't tried to like sneak out of the country, because he's just that much of an asshole. He's been streaming all this time, and talking about like how like, oh, Koreans are weak, their justice system is bullshit, it's basically a third world country here, like all these the shit that was presented to show like how much disrespect he has for like the system and the country. So that's why it's like so shocking that he only got 6 months. So hopefully that will be overturned and he'll get additional years, or hopefully a few years at best, because like this dude needs to become somebody's bitch. They don't do that in Korean prisons, but he deserves a hard time. And God, he like again, like just listening to him just makes me want to like I already talked about like that fuckboy at the beginning, of how like his voice just makes me want to punch him. This Johnny is somebody who deserves to be fucking punched, like, and he has been. He's been like attacked multiple times by people in the country because he's just being a fucking dick and a fucking asshole, and they got fed up with it. Unfortunately, but he just sees that as like a bonus. Like him getting beat up on camera is just like, that's just more money for him. People will come in, and apparently he doesn't even get that many subscribers. He only has like 24 subscribers. That's not much more than me. But apparently it's worth it. Where is he getting the money to do like international trips? I don't see how I mean, like, he's infamous, but I don't think he's making much money off of it, which is just surprising that he's still doing it. Or he thought this was a good idea. Anyway, the point is, like, he's finally getting his comeuppance, and hopefully he'll get even more. We'll see what happens. We'll probably talk about this by the end, because like the appeal date is coming. It's almost over. I think in the next like 4-ish days. So we'll know whether or not the appeal went through, which will guarantee at least 6 more months, and hopefully more. But we'll see. No, Tyron's a Korean jail sad. Where's that one meme? Kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantico. Let me see if I can find that scene. Yeah, he's not getting this in Korean prisons, unfortunately.
You need to hang up that computer call. Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
God. Oh, poor thing. That's just a stupid fucking video. But anyway, that's the Johnny case. Like, I wanted to talk more about it, but unfortunately we're kind of running out of time. We're already almost at the 3:30 mark. I want to watch this video and then we'll call it there, because we're almost at 11 a.m. 11 p.m.
Play
real PC games, you were locked
Alright,
into a very
sorry.
specific box. You needed an Intel or AMD processor. Windows was the gatekeeper. Then, Valve released the Steam Deck and proved that Linux was ready for the big leagues. But yesterday, Valve did something even more game-changing. They didn't just update Proton, they released the first official ARM64 build. They have officially unlocked the most played library in the world for a completely different architecture. We are talking about SteamOS on standalone VR headsets like the Steam Frame and a new generation of ultra-efficient handhelds. Today, we're diving into the Proton 11 beta. We'll examine the NT Sync change.
So basically, it's just for like portable games. I thought they had like made. Well, I mean, I guess it is a. I thought they had made like from the thumbnail. I thought they had made like a new. They started making their own microprocessors or something like that, or their own CPUs, which I think they still should do, but unfortunately it's not there yet. I mean, like Valve is still like, you know, pushing boundaries again with the release of the basically the release of the consumer version of the Source 2 engine. I've already said this multiple times, but I'm counting down the days until the release of SteamOS on desktop PC, so I can just finally switch over. Like, as soon as that's available, I am ditching Windows forever. Valve, please just release SteamOS already. I'm so done with Windows. I never liked Apple. I mean, I did like Apple when I was like a little kid, but like modern Apple is not the place to go. But like, please please make SteamOS available for like modern desktops. And honestly, they just need to get into the business of making like microprocessors at this point. They have the money, they could do it. Or CPUs and GPUs. Like seriously, Valve has the money that if they really wanted to, they could just make their own computer parts at this point. They could compete with Apple and Microsoft like directly, and Nvidia and AMD and yada yada yada. They have the money. It would take a lot of time and a lot of build up, but they could do it. Just saying, they could fucking do it. Steam makes like $1 billion a year or something like that. I'm saying they could do it. Apple's a status symbol. Yeah, it has kind of become that. Like, I legitimately liked Apple desktops back in like the early 2000s. Those were fun. I have a lot of memories of playing on those when I was like a little kid on my mom's. My mom was a teacher, and I would play on her classroom computer. She had Apples. I forgot what they were called. The ones that were like clear with desktops. Blue. No, blue. See-through? What are these called? Yeah, these things. The Macintoshes. Yeah. Yeah, I remember playing on these when I was like a little kid. Like, these were like some of my first computers I ever interacted with. These were fun as a kid. And they looked so fucking cool too. God, we downgraded. We need stuff like this nowadays. Anyway, but yeah, back when these were like the hot thing, that's when Apple was peak. Like, ever since the iPhone came out, this has been going downhill since. And clear plastic was futuristic. It still is the future. I've seen it. We're gonna see. You guys are gonna see the future still is clear plastic. You'll see. Anyway, but yeah, that wasn't nearly as like in depth as I thought it was gonna be, as impressive as I was hoping. But you know, like when the day SteamOS comes to PC or desktop, I will be reporting on that. I will be screaming from the rooftops and like cheering and yada yada yada. It will happen. What's that? All the other tabs? Wait, what? Was that all the tabs? Yep, that's everything. We're done through everything. We kind of got through everything finally. I mean, we did like speed through the Johnny Somali thing, but we technically did get through everything. I did have more stuff. I had I have my notes here, and I had like 4 or 5 other subjects that I kind of wanted to touch on, but I think I correctly filtered them out because we already went over time and we barely got through everything. So hey, at least we got through everything. You know, better than usual, right? Anyway, that is the debrief. Again, I can't touch on everything. We'll see what's happening with the Johnny thing next week, as well as what was the other thing that I said that's developing? Oh yeah, the Halo Studios thing, and heck, the fuckboy situation. If it's still in the news cycle next week, maybe I'll talk about it then. You know, just to like, you know, get into it. Why not? We'll see what happens. Again, there's always something interesting happening. Unfortunately, the world is constantly getting fucked up and yada yada. Yeah, next stream. I will try to have a schedule up by tomorrow because I want to start doing schedules again. I'm gonna try to do like I think I succeeded in doing 4 streams this week. Did I? Did I succeed? I don't remember. I did stream today, yesterday. I think I did. I think I successfully did 4 streams this week. Let me check. I don't remember now. I think I did, but I'm not sure. Hold on. I did. Yeah, I successfully did 4 streams this week. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do 5 next week, and I'm gonna try to have a schedule up for that as well. I would like to be able to get back into like the before like near the end of last year, where we were doing like 5 to 6 streams a week, including like 1 art stream a week. Like eventually what I want to be able to do is like have 2 streams dedicated to Persona, 1 dedicated to another game. Well, eventually 6 streams per week, 2 dedicated to Persona, 2 to another game, 1 to art, and 1 to the weekly debrief. With occasionally wait, is that correct? 1 to art and 1 to the weekly debrief. Yeah, 6 days, and occasionally we'll like mix it up with a collab that pops up here and there. Like that's the hopefully plan. Is it that's 7? 2 Persona, 2 other game, 1 art, and 1 debrief. 5, 6. No, the 6. The 6. No, I can't do 7. I need to have at least 1 day off or I'll explode. But yeah, 6 days a week. Shut up. You asshole. But yeah, that is the plan for eventually getting to that point. But I think next week we will focus on just 5. Again, just slowly building it up. And heck, I mean, like even like starting tomorrow, not tomorrow. Like even tomorrow, I have to go in for work because I run a event like every month, so that's gonna take up my time, and I'm already kind of stretching myself a little thin because of that. Plus the additional day, so yeah, we're gonna try to play. Like I said, I'm gonna try to have a schedule out, hopefully by tomorrow. But I need to play around with the dates, but Monday or Tuesday I will come in to stream. I'm not sure which day, but we'll figure it out. Anyway. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Hope you had a good time. I know I did. Hope you all stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you all again real soon, alright? Later. Alright, bye-bye, guys.